Yo, they're adding Ken Ross. I'm so happy. I'm so happy. I'm so happy. They're adding weapon parts for Glimmer. Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
For weapon parts because I break every goddamn weapon down. I've got hundreds of the things. I found out that you can only hold 200 of one thing, and then it starts another pile. So I deleted them. 'Cause that game.
Are you talking about Destiny?
Yeah.
I genuinely thought Bill was so excited about something.
I'm going to wear both headphones and hope I can't hear the explosions.
Quick, before I start singing Adele again, let's go. There's a burning in my heart.
Too late. It happened now.
It's too late.
By the gas.
You okay then?
Welcome everybody to the Permadeath podcast, episode
21.
Wait, 22, isn't it? Isn't it 22?
No, it's 21.
Ken Ross,
You can drink in America.
buddy, I'm gonna look this up right now.
Remember, because last time I said next time might be a video. We'll get drunk, as a joke.
Let's see.
God,
I'm pretty sure Ken Ross is right.
Ken Ross is right. Welcome to the episode 21. All day, I'm thinking.
all day, every day. Episode
I'm
21.
thinking all day. I'm thinking. Oh man, we're episode 22.
Bill's been psyching himself up all day. Episode 22. Welcome to episode 20. Oh,
I was
bugger.
practicing in front of my mom. You know, how should I introduce it?
She's gonna be so disappointed.
Fucked
It's
up.
pronounced 2012, right, Mum? 2012?
Get the fuck out of here, you asshole. That's what you're saying.
I think you're talking to me then.
Go do your stupid things. I never. Speaking of my mom, I kind of unrelated, but I never told her she was in my Nota Me Cantabile video until after I put it on YouTube, where I asked her what Nota Me Cantabile was. Oh well, in another life.
I can judge you now because I'm currently making videos.
So until I put that up, she had no idea what the fuck I was talking about. So that's if I'm your son, that's what you can expect. Putting the internet without your consent.
You're
It's
not.
a good job that you're not many people's sons then, I guess.
I mean, you're only two people's son, I hope.
Oh,
Right?
a whole committee of people.
Oh, okay. So you're like Arnold Schwarzenegger and Danny DeVito in Twins.
I never seen that movie.
There's a giant semen milkshake.
Damn. Well, I know the tentative title of episode 21. Thank you, Kiras. Welcome.
Is it Abby sings Adele?
Welcome to the show. We talk about games here, and we're gonna be doing a lot of that today. It's been a long time. I feel like we say that. Wait, did we have the same discussion last time? I feel like we say this all the time, but it's been a long time.
Yeah. Fun fact: it's going to be a long time till 22, like January time, earliest. Unless we get very lucky in December, in which case 23 will be very. Yeah.
I'll tell you my game of the year now. Then it's Fallout 4.
Well, that's what January's for.
Yeah, but I'm telling you now, that's what it's going to be. It's not out yet, but that's what it's going to be.
No. Second order of business. It is currently National Explosion Day in the UK, so apologies if you hear explosions.
Okay, here's where we get to quiz Bill. Bill, what's bonfire night?
Bill.
Well, I mean, I don't know all the details. You know, I just know there's some Guy Fawkes shit going on. There was some trees.
All right, so who was Guy Fawkes?
There's a little poem, dude. I don't know.
Okay.
He's got
All right,
that.
what's the little poem? What's the little poem?
Yeah. Do I have to?
Taught us with a poem.
Do I have to like say it like I'm
Yeah.
like oh no, I mean like, but do I have to say it in like a certain way, like remember
like-
remember the 5th of November, there's a gunpowder treason and plot. I don't remember the rest. Something about how it shouldn't be
No one
forgotten.
remembers
Yeah.
this.
I know of no reason why the gunpowder treason should ever be forgot.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know no reason why Bill should have ever forgot.
I think Emmy is now the first person I've ever known to know more than remember the 5th of November for gunpowder treason and plot.
That's the only part. Wait, so
Reason why the gunpowder treason?
It's the important bit.
I know the important bit then. Or wait, does she know the important bit?
Well, I mean, you know that there is something that happens.
You know,
in
it's
the
the
bit.
fifth.
They're
Yeah.
both
She
pretty
knows
important bits.
what is important about it.
So basically, Bonfire Night is where Guy Fawkes, this dude, a long time ago, tried to blow up the Houses of Parliament, got caught, and then was he hung, drawn, and quartered?
I think so. Or he was burned. Let's have a look. Because burning.
Because I don't
makes
think he
sense
was
on
burnt.
account of the
Burning
fact
makes
that-
sense.
Yeah,
but...
because there used to be a thing. It's not so much now, where people would make like guys, which is a little scarecrow type dude, carry him around in a wheelbarrow and beg for money, and then they burn him.
Oh.
Now we just celebrate it with big fires and fireworks.
Oh.
Yeah, we celebrate failed terrorism with explosions.
Yeah.
Well, hey.
Bonfire Night is like my favourite night of the year because I love fireworks, and it wasn't Christmas that all my family got together, it was Bonfire Night. Because everybody would be like busy doing their own family stuff on Christmas, so...
Okay. While climbing to the hanging platform, however, he jumped from the ladder and broke his neck, dying instantly. So he died from suicide, I guess.
Yeah.
He killed himself.
I mean, to be fair, it seems like a nicer thing to do to yourself if you have no way of escaping, rather than
So long
actually
as
being
you
hung, drawn, and
die.
quartered. Yeah.
If you don't die, then you're just like in a lot of pain, and then they still hang you. Anyway,
Yeah. So yeah, that's why me and Kinross sound like we're in a war zone right now.
British
Don't worry about
history on the Permadeath podcast.
now you might also. I'm gonna interrupt for as much as I can in the beginning, and then sort of let it go on. Now you used to have a theme song, Bill, for this podcast, a theme tune.
Oh yeah.
I think in the time that I've been here, it's only been used once, and then there was the first episode that I was in, where it was a song sung by a bunch of birds.
Which one is that?
It was about running away. Run so far away.
A flock of seagulls.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've taken it upon myself, because you keep telling me there's a new theme tune coming. Each episode, I'm going to be playing something.
Oh, that's right.
Until it gets done. So if you don't want me to play stuff anymore, get on Bill. If you have ideas of things for me to play,
Literally.
get on me.
I mean, technically, I don't mind this being the default way, 'cause I don't know what's going on with the other one. That's up to somebody else. Who made the first one?
I don't know who made the first one.
But I haven't talked to them in a little bit.
Okay.
Well, this is cool too. It'll remind me of when I did the Miniverse and I made a new theme song for every episode, which was always fun. So this would be a good tradition and culture to bring to the Permadeath podcast. Kinross and his, what's the instrument called?
A melodica. So it might sound awful over Skype. I apologise.
Kinross and his melodica.
This is a traditional Bonfire Night song in celebration. I'm actually quite nervous. So this is a breath-operated instrument, so it might sound a little bit shaky. There you go. Thank you.
Now that song's gonna be in my head. Damn it, Kinross.
So yeah, if you know of any simple tunes, I have 2 octaves, 2.5 octaves to play with from F. So it needs to fit on that, and it needs to be easy for a simpleton to learn.
Episode 21 has commenced.
I don't think we're ever gonna get a better episode than this one. I'll be honest.
I am disappointed that I spoiled. I did that purely for Andy. I'm sorry that I spoiled it, but I was getting impatient.
Triple dent gum will make you smile. Right, let's
Triple
go.
dent gum, it lasts a while. Triple dent gum, it'll help you, mister, to kick bad breath right in the kisser. Triple dent gum.
Is that a real gum?
No.
No.
Well, I mean, it's sort of based on Trident, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But
Where's it from?
No. Inside Out.
Oh, I have not seen that yet.
You should.
Shamefully.
Very good film. Very good film.
Very big Pixar fan. I'm very shameful.
Apparently, it was going to be a lot darker, but it was too much for Pixar, so they changed it around a bit.
And then I still hear it made people sad.
Yes, it did.
so-
It was going to make them even more sad with an extra minute of footage.
Oh.
Yeah.
My headphones came out. I can't hear you right this second. Keep talking.
Oh
Oh.
no. Oh no. Oh no.
I mean, why is it taking so long to plug your headphones back in, Bill?
Well, sometimes it I can't. I have a good answer for that.
No.
Anyway,
Should we talk about games?
video games.
We have a lot of games
Video games.
discuss.
Has there
I
any
went
been...
to,
Oh yeah, EGX. Yeah, that's more important than
I went to-
non-existent news.
Yeah,
That's
I
not
went to
sarcasm
EGX,
either, I swear.
and to be honest, most of the games that I played kind of out already.
Yeah. What? Oh, for
Like, I
for
played
reference
Assassin's
of
Creed.
for reference of time, when did you go to EGX? In relation to now.
September, wasn't it?
End of September.
So a month and a half ago.
So I played Assassin's Creed and that came out. I played Triforce Heroes and that came out. What else did I play there?
Star Fox.
Shut up.
Do you play any of Chronicles?
Yes. Oh my goodness, that's the one that I want to talk about the most actually. So I want to talk about Xenoblade Chronicles X first. I did make a video with Vectra Gaming about this, but that video never came out. So
So that's what this is for.
Exclusive.
yes. I've played Xenoblade Chronicles X. I didn't think it would be there as like a demo, because if you think about a JRPG, my first
10-minute
question
clip
was,
is like,
how are they gonna demo this?
yeah.
There was no queue for it. Like literally, I got in this line, and then they went, "Do you want to go? Do you want to go around the corner? Because there's like 3 consoles free." And I was like, "What? Are you kidding me?"
Give me a third arm.
So me, Andy, and Matt all played Xenoblade Chronicles X, and the way that they demoed it was really cool because it was the only game that I got a really substantial amount of time with, because the demo was 25 minutes.
Oh wow.
Which is insane. Like, if you think about demos at trade shows like this, they're usually about 5 to 10 minutes.
If you're lucky.
Yeah, if you're very lucky, because I don't know, the Assassin's Creed demo felt really short, and I haven't played an Assassin's Creed game properly since 3. So I was like, okay, they've changed everything. I have no idea what I'm doing. And then they were like, okay, sorry, your time's up. You have to... okay, fine.
But I walked in a circle.
But the queue for Assassin's Creed was, like, non-existent. Like, no one wanted to play Assassin's Creed.
That surprises me.
Like, I think we queued for it for 20 minutes, which, for a big AAA game, is ridiculous.
Yeah.
But anyway, back to Xenoblade Chronicles. That game's gonna be so good. That game's gonna be so freaking good. The demo was so much fun. And... I just want to have it now, preferably before Fallout, but it comes out a month from now, so
So, because a demo of a JRPG is obviously not going to be ideal. You're not going to have an impression of the story. You're going to be dropped somewhere in terms of combat progression.
right.
I assume that you were like dropped in a field with a mech.
No.
No?
No. They dropped you in quite early in the story. But highly advised that you did not progress the story at all. So they were like,
Oh, so they would just like do the open world bit.
Yeah, they said you can progress the story, but you aren't going to understand what happens, and please do not save it because it will mess the demo up really badly. Which someone actually did. Like, someone saved it after they progressed the story, and it broke the demo, and they had to like close the Wii U down for a bit. So they just like stuck us in, sort of like the Gore Plain sort of place that was in Xenoblade Chronicles.
Yeah,
the first. It was like that sort of size of an area, and they were like, just walk around, have some fun, I'll explain some combos to you, and it's got like a really cool combo system. And it's different from Xenoblade Chronicles.
Different enough that I might not hate it.
I don't know why you hated the first one, apart from the game didn't work for you properly, which I don't really understand. So.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to give it another try, but I'm...
Do it. Bring it to Japan with you.
Of course I am. It's on my... It's a download title, so I can't not bring it.
Because if you get bored on the plane, because I'm probably going to be playing a little bit of Xenoblade Chronicles on the plane, I can try and see what's wrong. Because
Mech on it, what's wrong?
I don't understand.
Combos.
I don't understand.
And the
But
time.
I'll try and explain it to you. But yeah, Xenoblade Chronicles X is good, and it's completely separate from the first one. So it's different characters, different mechanics. It's got mechs in it. I don't know how those work, but everything's totally separate. So if you haven't played like Xenoblade Chronicles or Xenoblade Chronicles 3D, it's not a big deal if you want to go and play Xenoblade Chronicles X. So
I mean, it seems kind of because, like, as far as I'm aware, like the mechs are a pretty important thing. Because in all of the promotional stuff that I've seen, there are mechs. So it seems a bit weird that they wouldn't have like at least a small section that they could load up and be like, "Here's a mech, off you go."
I think what they did is they just put a bit of the game onto a demo disc, and it just happened to be really early on in the game before you get. I don't think they're called mechs. I think they're called like dolls or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Wait, let's have a look.
Metal Gear.
I always love the names that anime and games give mechs. That's not mechs. I'm obviously not gonna call it mechs, but I always love it.
Why don't they call them mechs? Because it's not owned by anyone.
I mean, I guess they figure in their own unique universe there's a name for these, just like. But then again, a car is a car. You know, it does, and anything.
I mean, or is it just so that they can say, like that they are then creating their own brand, so that a Gundam is a Gundam.
Yeah.
And that
and they're called Skells, and apparently someone didn't get their Skell until 55 hours into the game.
Yo!
Okay.
Why is it in so much promo stuff?
Because it looks cool.
Well, the funny thing about that game is that's probably not even halfway done. So, like, I guess.
Alternatively, they could have been doing the I'm not going to progress the story at all. And it's actually like an hour and a half in, you can get your Skell.
They could just have been doing side quests for a real long time.
Yeah. They're like, oh yeah, the story. I forgot about the story.
I should get my Skell.
Get your Skell together.
I don't like the name Skell. I think that's kind of.
You'll probably get used to it.
It's a bit weird. But.
Is there a Skell tree? a Skell skill tree.
A Skell tree.
I had to explain it to Bill.
No, I was looking up different names for mechs. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
I get it.
So, have either of you got any questions about Xenoblade Chronicles X before I talk about Star Fox?
On a scale of 1 to gorgeous, how good does it look?
Gorgeous.
Okay.
It's like a 10. It looks so good.
How's the silent protagonist?
I didn't progress the story, so I didn't really notice that.
Is there still like battle band? Well, obviously, I guess not for the protagonist. Do they still stay stuff?
Oh, is he silent?
Yeah. Well, he or she's silent. You make your character.
Oh, okay.
I don't know what I think to that, because I kind of
hated Shulk.
This one.
Well, Shulk's
but
voice.
To be fair, if it makes it so that the main character isn't as insufferable as Shulk can be at times, that's fine. But I've pre-ordered the game, so I will let you know when I actually have a chance to play more than a couple of hours of it, because it's coming out less than a month after Fallout, by which point I will not be done with Fallout. And I go to Japan, so yeah, and then I go to Japan like immediately afterwards. So I'll play it before the next episode, though. I'll let you know.
I should probably have it by then too. Whether I play it or not is another thing. But
Bill, we got to make a pact. We've got to play Xenoblade Chronicles.
Hashtag buy Metroid.
The buy Metroid movement is dead.
You can buy Xenoblade Chronicles for your Wii U.
Yeah, but I have the disc.
But you don't plug in your Wii.
What?
I thought you said that your Wii's unplugged.
Yeah, but I don't need the Wii.
On the Wii U.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
It's got backwards compatibility because they're Nintendo and they're fucking smart.
Hashtag buy
Nintendo's not always smart. But, no, yeah, I gotta throw it in. I got stuff to say about JRPGs a little later, though. That's why maybe I haven't played it yet. But we'll get into that later.
One day before Permadeath just like ceases to function.
The question
I will
is,
get you to play.
Will I finish Xenoblade before Bill?
No.
Will I finish Xenoblade before Walking Dead?
That's
Actually, Kinross, you might finish Xenoblade before me, because, and I'll get into this more later as well, Kinross, you're the most persistent gamer I've ever met in my life. In terms of playing stuff you're not really enjoying. So,
I have so much to talk about. So much.
But we'll get into that later as well. But what else have you seen at EGX, Abby?
I got to talk about Star Fox.
Yes, I'm interested.
I got to talk about my experience with Star Fox because it genuinely nearly made me cry.
This is an important point to make. Your experience of Star Fox was less than ideal for reasons other than the game.
I'm going to explain that real briefly.
I'm interested to know the quality of the game if it has to do with the delay that was recently announced.
Say recently, it was like a month or two ago.
Well,
Russ,
not long after EGX.
I think it needed more polish, so I'm fine. I'm actually like really okay with the delay because I didn't really enjoy it that much. Yeah. But the reason that I didn't enjoy it so much was because I jumped onto this machine after queuing for an hour and a half, I would like to point out. The queues were long for Star Fox, which kind of surprised me because I didn't know many people still cared that much about Star Fox, but apparently they did. So I jumped onto this machine. I was so excited. I played through to the boss of the first level, which is Corneria. And it's very, very, very similar to Star Fox 64. So I played through to the boss. I died at the boss because I could not figure out the camera at all to save my life. Couldn't do it. And then I died and it kicked me off the game saying thanks for playing, and the person came over and went, "Did you have fun? Alright, move on, we've got to do the next person now." And I'm like, I've queued up for an hour and a half. I've been waiting 10 fucking years for this game. Are you joking me? And Matt and Andy, who had never really played Star Fox that much before, got to play for another 10 minutes.
What the
fuck?
And I was genuinely so upset. I was stood at the end of where the machines were, and I was so close to crying because I was so disappointed. Because I wanted to play more. I wanted it to be good. But the only reason that I don't think that the game is very good is because they had the motion controls on.
Mm-hmm.
But from what Andy's been telling me, apparently he did not have motion controls on. So I have a little bit more hope of it being more of an enjoyable experience than of what the fuck is going on. How am I supposed to control this experience? If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So if you've ever played a Star Fox game, your aiming reticle is what you control. Is it? I've actually forgotten. I think you control that with the control stick and you move the pad up and down to control where you're flying.
Yeah.
And it just doesn't work for me. I've played too many Star Fox games where the aiming reticle goes in the direction that your ship's going. And if I can turn the motion controls off, I'll probably really love it, to be honest. But I do not know if that is a thing that is possible yet, so...
So unfortunately, you're about as clueless as you were before.
I'm probably more confused because I was at least hopeful that I was going to enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
But now I just know that when Nintendo go to these events, they need more employees on their big game because they had 3 for 8 machines, I think. So they had 8 Star Fox machines going, which is probably why I had to queue up for an hour and a half to play it in the first place. They had more Splatoon machines, to put that into perspective. Which is a game that's already out, so... yeah, they had 1 employee on the side that I was on, so she didn't know how long I was on the game for, which is why she ushered me away, I think. Yeah. And they had 2 employees on the side where Andy and Matt were.
Mm-hmm.
So they got a lot more, one-on-one, this is how you play the game if you've never played a Star Fox game before. So, yeah.
So unfortunate, to say the least. Anything else that you saw at EGX?
I saw loads of stuff.
How was the Division?
The Division was good. The Division was good, but I don't know if I'm going to get it.
That's the team one. I'm getting increasingly confused between the Division and Rainbow Six at this point.
The Division is the one that's set in like the post-apocalyptic New York.
So the one with the totally real team chat that's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
To be
Cover
honest,
my six, son.
when I was playing the game, I totally understood where that sort of talk was coming from. Matt understood it even better because he was with two people that were actually talking like that. But I was like, okay, communication is like super important in this game. And
I mean,
the only reason that I think I'm not going to get it is because I was really bad at it. Really, really bad. I don't think I even killed a person. Andy was worse. I'll point that out. Andy was definitely worse because I was like on the ground next to him, like, can you revive me? Because I'm down. And he's like, where are you? And then started like jumping up crates and jumping over walls and stuff because he didn't know the buttons because he's never used an Xbox controller apparently.
but it's pretty much exactly the same as a PlayStation controller.
It's got the buttons.
X is
different.
jump.
X is not where he thinks X is apparently. So.
Oh, I suppose if it's like telling you to hit X, he'll instinctively hit A.
Yeah. So,
Apple.
the Division was good. I think if you're into shooters and stuff, you'll probably like it a bunch more than I did.
Yay.
And I got interviewed for Ubisoft. Like,
I saw the picture.
some dude.
Yeah, I saw a picture.
Yeah. I don't know where that video went.
It's gonna go right in the
So-
bonus features for the game with the digital deluxe edition.
I hope not, because I looked rough as shit on that
Just
day, because
that
we'd been
interview.
we'd been in the Division queue for about 3 hours, I swear. It was like 2 or 3 hours.
They want to
It's a
keep
really
you.
long queue.
They want to keep you in the queue to make you start looking like the people in the game, so you can
But
get the most
it's-
authentic interview experience afterwards. Like, you look like you just
said,
came out of the Division. Like, no shit.
They said at one point what was the best part, and I was like, you have seats here? Because nowhere had seats. Nowhere in the entire exhibition.
The only reason I
hall had
queued for
seats.
3 hours was so I could sit down.
I saw chairs. I waited.
Like their booth was really cool as well. But what was I gonna say? Yeah, you know how like when you demo games, it's really nice to have seats now and again. Ubisoft were the only ones who had seats. Like that 25-minute Xenoblade X Chronicles X demo didn't have a seat.
Didn't the
so
indie
I
stuff
spent
had seats? I saw. I thought people sat down there. All the indie like the little indie games.
indie games had like stalls, but if it was a popular indie game, you weren't gonna get a stall. Like Gang Beasts, we played Gang Beasts, and that was awesome.
No idea what that is.
It's like a brawler 8-player local co-op
Yeah, it looks really fun.
game. Not co-op. It's not co-op.
So it's like Smash.
Versus
8-player Smash.
Sort of. But all you have to do is grab people and like throw them off the stage or whatever.
Okay.
And it's really cool. Look it up. Gang Beasts, really, really cool. I like that game a lot. I would buy it, I just don't know when I would ever play it because it's only local. Doesn't have an
Yeah.
online feature right now, so sort of like Nidhogg. Like I never played Nidhogg online.
Mhm.
I,
Well, it's a pain in the
I've
ass.
I never knew.
it doesn't work.
I never knew. It
Yeah,
had,
it
I never knew it had online.
yeah, it
It's
does.
crap. It's
I bought it,
rubbish.
and then Effie and I tried to play, and I think in an hour period we had maybe 10, 15 minutes of actually playing.
It was not good.
It was a pain.
I played Tomb Raider.
Oh.
We got stuck in like one of the tombs, I guess, and had to figure out a puzzle.
Mhm.
That was super cool. If I had an Xbox One, I would be buying that next week.
Mhm.
Like even though Fallout comes out on the same day, I would be buying it next week.
Oh, it comes out the same day as Full Glow.
Yep.
Which is a weird choice for sure. Because I feel like those are two, like the demographics for those two games are pretty similar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like there is a significant overlap. So you're actually making people choose between one or the other. And I think that people
I would obviously
ultimately
choose
Fallout.
Fallout. I would obviously choose Fallout over Tomb Raider, even if I had an Xbox One.
Mhm.
But it would be nice. I'm assuming in this world where I have an Xbox One, I've got a fair amount of money, so
Yeah.
it'd be nice to get both,
Mhm.
so that when I'm just sort of wanting something that's a bit more linear,
Yeah.
Tomb Raider would be quite good for that. But it's a huge mistake releasing those two games on the same day.
I mean,
like
it
the-
starts to become inevitable towards this end of the year.
But considering that Microsoft have like exclusive deals with both Fallout with the mod stuff and Tomb Raider, with it being like exclusive to the Xbox One for a time.
Fallout 4 on the Xbox One also comes with Fallout 3.
Does it?
Yes. It's going to be one of the backwards compatible games, so it comes with Fallout 3.
It's quite interesting.
Also,
wonder
the
if it'll always
advertising tells
be
me
like-
that suddenly popped up yesterday.
I
There's
wonder
only
if it'll
one
always
poster.
be like that, because I'd like to play Fallout 3 again, but it doesn't work on my PC. It sort of like forces itself to crash.
It doesn't seem to be suggesting that it's a pre-order bonus, so...
Okay.
Yeah, I think it just comes bundled. I think they said that at E3. Todd Howard was like, and it comes with Fallout 3. Or something like that. I didn't mean to make fun of him, but that's just how he sounds.
Sounds like the guy from Extra Credits.
What else did I play? I think that's all the big stuff, to be honest. Tomb Raider, The Division, all the Nintendo stuff. Oh, there's a cool game that's like an indie game that's coming out on the Wii U.
Okay.
I think it's called Fast Racing Neo, and it's like F-Zero. It's so close to F-Zero. I'm so excited for it.
Someone
Let's see if
picked up Nintendo's Slack here.
Let's have a quick look at this.
Yeah, it's called Fast Racing Neo.
It looks a bit like Wipeout.
Yeah, it's what F-Zero is like.
Oh, I mean, I've never played F-Zero.
I'm very excited about them because I don't know if you know, there's two games that I've wanted for a very long time. One of them was a new F-Zero, one of them was a new Star Fox. We've got half of it, so
I'm watching this trailer for Fast Racing. Why didn't they just say, "Hey, dude"?
Bill, do you have audio on that trailer?
I haven't muted, man. I am prepared.
Doing this
Unless-
lesson.
unless
I
you
was
want me
about
to-
to watch it, and then I was like, wait.
And they showed me to unmute
No.
it.
No.
They should just told these dudes, "Hey, you'll make it F-Zero."
yeah, they should have, because they would have made a really good job with it.
I mean, maybe that's what they'll do. If this
Like, I
does
played
well, they'll be
against-
like, yeah, we'll buy you.
I played against Matt, and I ended up beating Matt, I think. But it wasn't like I understood everything that was happening immediately. Like, it wasn't identical to F-Zero, if that makes sense. It's got like this function where you can switch between your cart, your like, I don't know,
Vehicle.
racer, between having like orange and blue traily bits off of it, and you get bigger boosts if you go over blue boost pads while your car is giving off the blue boosty bits and orange. So it's got like a little bit more than just go fast, I guess. It's like go fast, but there's logic to going fast.
Sounds cool.
Cool.
It still says initial release date 2015, so that's not
That's probably not right. But
a month and a half.
I played Triforce Heroes as well, but that game's out now, and no one wants to play it with me because no one wants to buy it.
I
so-
really want to play it, but I'm having to be hesitant because I'm getting half people telling me that they'll pick it up for me for Christmas. I'm like, well, damn. So I can't buy it just in case they do, and I'm like,
And I tried playing it single player. It's not good single player. It's really cumbersome. So
no, I'm sorry.
it's a good multiplayer experience though. So
You've only got a couple of months to wait, and in that time you'll be playing Fallout. So
yeah, I'll be playing Fallout, and when I'm not playing Fallout, I'll be playing another giant RPG. So
yep.
I'm good. I don't have any portable games though. This is the problem. I need a portable game because Japan. And the only thing I've been playing at the minute, again, is Xenoblade Chronicles, just because I felt like playing Xenoblade Chronicles, so I'm on my second playthrough of that now.
Get Monster Hunter.
I should.
it's not gone down in value though.
No Nintendo games do. Oh,
Until
unfortunately.
the consoles are
Yeah.
Yeah.
defunct.
I mean, I can bring a couple of things that you might want to.
Get Monster
What
Hunter.
around with?
Get what do I got here? Get Tales of the Abyss.
Got Tales of the Abyss. I should play that. I should play that.
It's pretty good.
I've been meaning to play that since like I bought it on my birthday and played about 5 hours of it so far.
You're gonna have to restart because you'll have no idea what's going on.
Yeah.
That's
I
what
don't think I like. I like the combat and stuff in Tales of the Abyss, but I don't think I like the way that the overworld is. I know that's a really weird thing to say. But I don't think I can go back after playing Xenoblade Chronicles. I don't think I can go back.
Is that the? I haven't played Abyss in a while. I haven't finished it either. But is the overworld like where you're kind of running on that like I don't know how to describe it. Where like
it's like a flat thing with things scaled down to about the size of you. I think.
Yeah. Yep.
I don't like that, and I really don't like that. But the combat's really fun.
I can't even conceive of that world map. I'm just gonna Google it.
Interesting. Yeah, let's Google it to make sure I'm not making that up and it's not like Final Fantasy VI that I'm talking about or something dumb.
I think you're right. If I remember, I played Tales of the Abyss on a trip last year for a little bit, and I remember the overworld being like.
It looks like
I typed in Tales of the Abyss overworld. Bill, you fucking idiot.
It looks kind of Final Fantasy-ish. Like it's a 3D. I guess like Final Fantasy would be overhead, and this is an angle, like isometric, I guess.
It sucks having to go back. It's not as bad as I thought it was, to be fair.
It's just that you're not used to it.
I'm not used to it. And going back from like the massive worlds that were in Xenoblade Chronicles, I don't know.
This is actually a topic I actually want to touch on. I actually had a topic in mind for today.
Oh wow!
But we can get into it after we're done with what we've been playing and stuff like that. Or we can get into it now. It doesn't really matter.
We'll stick with all the games, and then I can just put an annotation and say, for the topic, go here.
Yeah, if you're interested in that now, click that, motherfucker.
Unless you're on iTunes, in which case, don't.
In which case, please rate us. Yeah. Anyway, continue.
Okay, maybe it'll be Tales of the Abyss. Yeah, it does have that weird overworld thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, where like it kind of like wants to give you this massive scale, but like obviously the game's limited in its hardware on PS2 too. I'm not just talking about the 3DS. So it makes the overworld look grand, but it makes everything kind of smaller. So like when you walk up to a city, like you're like 3/4 the size of the city, kind of looking thing.
And
yeah. Like it lets you cover.
What is this, city for ants?
It lets you cover a lot of ground, like in the overworld. Like, oh, look how big the world is, and you can get around the overworld. A lot of old RPGs did it that way.
I don't necessarily have an issue with that, because if the overworld is massive and empty, then it's just a pain in the ass, and it takes time that it doesn't need to.
Kind of like Tales of Systeria, which I want to talk about later.
I really want to get into the Tales of series, but I don't know if I can do it. I own 2 of them, and I've played like 5 hours of one of them. So
I own 2 as well.
Which ones? Because I've got Tales of the Abyss 3D, and
I own Abyss and Vesperia.
I got Tales
I used to own Symphonia for the GameCube, and I actually, because Symphonia was on 2 discs, I actually played a fuck ton of Symphonia, up towards probably close to the end of the 2nd disc. I just, like in typical Bill fashion, I don't beat shit, even when I play it for 60 hours. I swear
you're just like, oh, is this the end of the game that I'm coming to? Better take the disc down.
Stop right now. That happened to me with Lost Odyssey as well for the 360, which is one of the only JRPGs I really want to go back and like actually finish, because I really, really love Lost Odyssey.
Is that Enslaved to the West? Or is that...
No. It's one with samurais, isn't it?
Yeah, you guy kind of looks like a samurai.
Or is it Enslaved Lost Odyssey? I don't know.
Enslaved was a game by Team Ninja, which was an action platformer. That is apparently
amazingly good.
That is amazingly
good. But no one
good.
played.
Nobody played it. The game's beautiful. It's fun. Good characters. Great motion cap. Great story.
It's got Andy Serkis in it, I think.
Totally underrated game. Yeah, he is. I believe so. I just said yeah, he is, and I said I wasn't sure.
Typical Bill.
But no, Lost Odyssey was fantastic. That was by Sakaguchi. That was his company, Mistwalker. He started when he left Square. Mr. Final Fantasy.
I tried playing that game and didn't understand the combat right away, so I got rid of it.
If I remember correctly, that's the one where you got to hold the button in like with the ring, right? And it has to like line up with the ring or something like that. I think I remember correctly. I got to, like,
if you want to buy it and you're in the UK, you can get it for like £2. It's like ridiculously cheap.
Great game. Comes on 4 discs, so beware. Mostly for the
has all the discs.
Mostly for the cutscenes though. It's funny when I bought it. Nobody made a 360 box that could hold 4 discs. So you have the little disc flap for the first 2 discs, and then discs 3 and 4 are like in a single pouch tucked behind the instruction book. What the fuck is this? Anyway,
maybe I'll try that again one day. I'm in a JRPG mood, so you never know.
Good game.
I know something that both you and Bill have played, Abby.
Is it Until Dawn?
Yes, it is. And I've watched people play Until Dawn, so I can...
Dude, I actually forgot about that today.
How could you forget about that stellar review that you gave?
Well, I love... Well, yeah, the little fucking... God damn it.
That's so much.
Yeah, no, I love that game.
Do you actually?
Mhm.
Okay. I wasn't quite sure which mood you were going for in the end.
All right, I'm gonna ask questions as much as I can
Spoilers,
without
potential.
spoiling anything. How many people died in your playthrough?
Oh, shit, let me think.
I know of at least one. It was the one that Bill was the least happy to lose.
I was so fucking pissed off. I was so fucking
I know
mad.
one person who lived.
And then,
It was the one who built it.
I was so fucking pissed off. And then my dad played it. And then I go down and, because my dad did, the part I fucked up on at the end, I'm not going to details, whatever. I mean, if we accidentally spoil things, sorry. I mean, we've all played it here. You know, if we accidentally say
It's
something,
fairly
sorry.
old, man. Story, like internet.
I asked him what, because the part I messed up on was a part where you're not supposed to move. And I had the fucking controller in a weird zigzag way, just sitting there watching the cutscene. And I go, yeah, this is great. And then, I'll press a button every now and then. And then it comes up the don't move part. I'm like, fuck, no! And I'm fucking have the controller in one hand, zigzagged. I move it back in place, and I moved. And then alerted the enemy, which led to one of the characters' deaths, because at the end, the people who are alive are talking to the camera, and she says, if I only would have stayed still, so and so would still be alive. And I'm like, well, fuck me, oh man. But let's see, how many people died for me? It was oh fuck, how many were there total?
Say them and I could just cut it, I suppose.
Well, to be honest though, I mean, saying which characters.
Let me just list all the characters. There's Mike, Chris, Ashley, Jessica, Asian, Emily, Matt, Josh. Who's the Hayden Panettiere character?
Sam.
Yeah.
So 8.
Saying which characters die isn't really a spoiler, because the point of the game is that they can all die.
People live or die.
Yeah.
Spoiling how they die or when they die.
Yeah.
I'm assuming you lost Mike then.
Going into this game, I knew people were gonna die. Yeah, I was so fucking pissed.
I think Bill's. I think we haven't actually talked enough for that to have gone. I want to reread what Bill wrote.
Oh yeah. Go ahead. Are you like right on that already?
I could be.
Yeah, I was so mad. Like in the start of that game, I wasn't sure who to like, and who I was liking in the beginning. Yeah, go ahead, read it.
I can't. You swear so much.
Do you want me to read it? Send it to me.
This was.
I might just send a screen cap. So
Okay, that's fine.
Fucking game.
Continue.
I wasn't sure who to like in the beginning. I kind of figured I would like Sam. She seemed like a level-headed person. Mike seemed kind of like just like, oh, I'm the hot playboy kind of guy. But that dude got shit done. That motherfucker.
He was a knob in the first bit though.
Yeah.
Right.
That's why I was like,
oh my god.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
okay.
I forget.
Am I reading all of this?
Some of it is spoilery.
Okay. Spoilers ahead then.
Wow, I did write a lot. Holy fuck. There will be spoilers for Until Dawn. There's no point dancing around it. I'm sorry, anybody who haven't played the damn game. That's
which bit? Just
actually, no, why doesn't Bill read his own rant took place over like half an hour?
Can I just read this one line?
Yeah, sure.
This game is fucking dicking on me with the don't move shit.
Let's see, right? Oh. So am I reading all this?
Yeah, half of it is in caps. You don't have to shout it, but just know.
I really didn't know I wrote all this. Like
yeah.
All right, I guess I'll read it all as calmly as possible.
Okay.
Yeah, Emily.
I guess you could read it like you were typing.
I don't remember how I felt when I wrote some of these.
Well, you can tell by the language and the capitalization that you weren't pleased.
Emily is Indiana Jones flying down this zip line. I don't know. Which one was Emily? The Asian?
Yeah.
Fucking hated her.
The one
by
that
way.
everybody hated.
Fucking awful character. Like in the beginning when you're like talking to like the like psychiatrist guy in between chapter breaks,
The dude with the incredibly
flappy face.
flappy face.
Dude, when he told me his face was so flappy, I never stopped noticing it forever. Like
He's like-
forever. Yeah, it's like he's always like, I'm tasting something. And, do you ever see the video of the old guy tasting ice cream?
No.
Oh my god! Kinross, it's him! That's what it's not the actor, but hold on.
I'll Google it later, okay?
I'm just gonna link it in Skype. Don't worry about it. Because I'm telling you right now, it's the flappy face. But anyway, the part where the psychiatrist guy is like, I forget. I think he's asking you who you like better or something like that, and he mentions about Emily about how like this kind of behavior is some kind of signifies I don't know, insecurity or greatest weakness or something like that. And I'm thinking like, you know, she's just acting out because she's fucking got a problem. And like, you know, that's fine. I heard that and I'm like, well, maybe she'll come around. That fucker never came around. And then like at the end when everyone's talking to the camera, she's still just bitching about stuff. Oh man, I wanted to fucking punch my screen so bad because fucking Mike dies. That bitch gets out. Oh man, ooh, fuck this game.
There's like certain circumstances in which she'll say, "Have you found Matt yet?" And they'll go, "No, we haven't found him yet." And she'll go, "Good, don't look too hard."
That's what.
I'm like,
Now, some people are saying that Emily ends up being a bitch because you treat her like a bitch. So I don't know whether like if you start like because she comes across in the beginning as kind of a bitch, and then you instinctively like react to that and just make her more of a bitch. So I don't know if you play through again and you just sort of be a bit more kind to her. She's less so.
She immediately comes into the cabin.
Yeah.
You haven't even played as her at this point, and she's
Where
just
are my
like,
bags?
"Oh, let me just bitch at Matt for not having my bags. Let me just bitch at Jessica because why not?"
Well, she's
like,
going out with Mike now.
I haven't got time. I ain't got time for you, Emily.
If I was Mike, I should have. Oh, this is a fucking spoiler again. God, fuck it. I should have shot her in the fucking head when I had the chance. Things would have been so much better.
Anyway, you gonna carry on reading, Bill?
Fucker, yeah.
We are one line out of like 20.
That's a lot, yeah. Okay. So for anyone who went zoned out there, I'm still reading off my my great monologue about Until Dawn as typed in Skype.
Yeah. Basically the last.
I'm gonna skip the second line because it just sounds weird out of context. You know what I mean? I guess not really. A bunch of little golems running around.
Bunch of little golems running around.
As soon as I saw I'm like, oh, let's see, Mike and Sam spelunking through caves. Yeah, this reminded me a lot of Uncharted. That's not really as funny as a line to read, but it was funny. One of the reasons I started liking Mike so much is because one, he was brave as fuck. Dude didn't give a shit. Dude did what he had to do. But the scenes where there's like spelunking through the caves with Sam, and she has like the pullback blonde hair, and he's like in his cool ass fucking explorer's outfit with his torch. I'm like, this is Uncharted. Like generic white dude with black hair and pretty blonde girl. Like I'm playing Uncharted. Mike is Nathan Drake confirmed prequel. Fuck! I was holding the fucking controller weird during the Jessica don't move part. Jesus fucking Christ! Come on! This game is fucking dicking me with the don't move shit. I fucking got Mike killed in the lodge explosion. Man, come the fuck on. I liked Mike. Fuck, that pisses me off. No, wait. Never mind. The Wendigo broke his neck, according to these credits. Oh. Wait, what the fuck was that reference? I already knew he died. Oh, I thought he died in an explosion. Okay, well, these are spoilers. People already know this is going to happen. Sorry. I'm sorry, everybody. Oh, well, maybe if I didn't fuck up the fucking don't move part the first time in the lodge, we wouldn't be getting attacked. Fucking goddamn Mike! Okay, so Sam, Emily, and Chris were my survivors. And I type here, I like Sam and Chris, but hate Emily with the power of 1,000 suns. I should have left her in the lodge with the Wendigo.
Oh, that's right. An option to just straight up leave.
Well, I think I had the option to save her or go for the light switch as Sam. Okay. I had the option of beelining straight for the light switch or distracting them from attacking Emily. Now, I don't know if they still attack Emily.
I don't know. I don't think that works out well for Sam. Beelining. I'm not sure.
In all caps. Man, I wish Mike made it, man. Fuck this game. Fuck this fucking don't move shit taking me off guard. Fucking son of a bitch. Wow, it legit makes me mad Emily made it and not Mike. Mike cross Sam. OTP. Fucking bitch ass game, fucking with me. Loved it though. Real gem of a game. And that is
Those last 2 lines are my favorite tweet that I have ever made.
Well, it was all true. I mean, those kinds of emotions don't get elicited out of me if I don't have good.
Yeah, you got to be invested to be that angry.
I loved the game, honestly. I was so glad I bought it. It was a great game to play around this season. I finished it like a week before Halloween. Put the lights off. I did all the whole rigmarole. Just had a great time. Gorgeous looking game. A game where that butterfly effect type system actually is a thing. You know, it's not just like illusion of choice. Shit happens differently. I mean, obviously,
we started on the goddamn illusion of fecking choice. Goddamn butterflies.
My only it's not even really that big of a complaint, really. I stopped thinking of it as a complaint as I got further into the game, like the collectibles and stuff like that. Like, I really cut the totems and the clues and all that. And being able to unlock the whole history of the past. But I understand the game wants to promote multiple playthroughs, not only through collectibles but through the butterfly effect itself. Like, people, they want you to play it multiple times, and you aren't going to find everything at once, because it made it odd to me. I kind of came to terms with it, because like I'm thinking, like, fuck the collectibles for now. Like, I can get those another time. On my first playthrough on most games, I don't really care, but lately in my head I've been kind of compelled to try to get everything at once. And Until Dawn, it just sometimes doesn't make sense. Like, I have to find my girlfriend, she's being chased by monsters or a killer. Let me just take a look in the side room over here real quick for this totem. I'll be right there, but like, so I got to a point where I just kind of stopped looking in certain corners just because I really wanted to just keep going.
Yeah, I mean, that's the sort of thing that you do on your second playthrough.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like second playthrough, especially for this. Like, second playthrough for this, like, you're no longer in it just for the story. I mean, you are, but I mean, you know how the story as a whole kind of plays out. Like, you know what I mean? You're still gonna have technically the same the same end, like the same story arc is there. Different people will be alive. So I mean, like, your second time, you could be focused on like trying to break certain situations, like, okay, I gotta make this person's alive. What can I do here? What can I do here? What can I do here? What can I find here? Instead of focusing on just a story. But that complaint went away as I played it, so I really don't really have much to really say about this game that I really didn't like, to be honest.
It was a good game. I played it with Andy and Matt. We recorded it, and that should be going up on Virtual Gaming's channel at a point whenever it's edited, I guess. And Andy got 2 people killed.
Was Andy the one in control all the time, or were you like switching around?
No, we were switching between us. I never got anyone killed in the initial playthrough. I got Emily killed in, like, you know how you can go and do certain scenes again?
Yeah.
Because we were like, let's see how Emily dies. She gets her eyes gouged out.
Yeah, I was legitimately worried. Like, I spoke to Andy as soon as he said, or it was like discussed, that you were playing Until Dawn, because I can't play that game. I don't deal well with horror, but I decided I'm going to watch all of the death scenes, and I was like, Evie's not going to deal well with this one. I need to like make sure that she's okay, but I don't want to be spoiling it.
Yeah, for those of you who don't know, I have a huge fear of like eyes being touched.
Yeah.
So eyes being gouged out, definitely not going to do it for me.
No.
So as soon as I did it, Andy grabbed my head and like turned it around on the TV, and it was like,
yeah. There are a few deaths that I saw in that video, obviously, that I've never seen anyone talk about getting, and they were kind of more interesting. Like, who's Emily's bitch?
Matt
has an interesting death, sort of thing.
Matt survived in mine. I was so proud. Because he's like the easiest one to kill.
Yeah, I've noticed that. I know when I mentioned his death to Kinross, he told me that the one I got seemed to be the most common, and then my dad ended up getting that same death on 2 playthroughs.
Yeah. I mean, that one's common because if you, like, the thing that you'd think to do prior to it, which is to help Emily, basically kills you. If you try too much.
That's why he didn't die, because I was in control, and I was like, no, fuck it, let's jump.
Yeah. So if you try to do the right thing, you end up ruining yourself. But spoilers. One of the endings for Matt is that he gets like left in the caves, and he gets discovered by a group of like Mountie type people. I don't know whether they're not in Canada, or they're in Washington State or something. But whatever that is, and they find him chomping down on someone, and he's half Wendigo. Like he's halfway through the transformation, and
that happened to Josh.
Was it Josh?
That was Josh.
They looked very similar. I may have gotten them confused.
Yeah, I think that's Josh that you're talking about.
Okay, well, that was still a significantly cooler thing than.
Did you get Josh killed, Bill?
Yeah.
Yeah, he only got Sam, Emily, and Chris out.
Yeah, 5 people died for me.
Because if you don't get like a really specific clue, he dies. But if you get the really specific clue, he turns into a Wendigo. So there's no good end for Josh.
Oh, so it
doesn't he have like two deaths?
So does Josh never live?
I mean, he lives as
he lives as a Wendigo.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I fucked up a part where you're walking through the caves, and you find out not long before this that Jessica's still alive, and I forget that the Wendigo that the Wendigo can imitate their prey.
You got Ashley killed, didn't you?
Yes.
By doing that.
Yeah. Yep.
Is that the one with the trapdoor?
Yeah.
See, I don't know any of the powers of the Wendigo other than
I remembered it right after,
like predator vision and
like I'm thinking okay, shows that she's alive, whatever, and like I forgot they can imitate their prey, and then as I'm doing it, I'm thinking like this has to be her, like what, like because I fucking forgot, and then I fucking remembered. I'm like fuck, god damn it,
you remembered at the precise moment.
Like no, and I mean whatever. I didn't hate Ashley, but I mean whatever. The only person
that one was a legitimately scary one to me because it's one of the ones that sort of puts you on edge, and then it's like, oh, everything's
yeah.
I didn't fall for it. You'll see if you ever watch the video. I was like, oh, what should I do? Oh, the Wendigo can imitate people. I'm gonna go back to the group.
Yeah.
Like, and Matt was like, I can't believe you remembered that. I'm actually kind of impressed.
Oh yeah, because Matt played through it.
Yeah, Matt never had control of the game. He was trying to make us do things that he did differently, which didn't really work, because apparently it was mostly the same, apart from a couple of people dying. But yeah.
So if you owned a PlayStation 4, Abby, would you have picked it up and enjoyed it, or is it not your cup of tea?
I really enjoyed playing it, but I don't know if I only enjoyed playing it because I was with people, and because I was with people we had these huge like light boxes in our face to light us.
Oh yeah.
It wasn't exactly a scary atmosphere.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if I would have played it by myself, but I'm glad that I have played it. It would definitely
unlike Bill, who said, I didn't sleep well after playing Until Dawn just before bed. Which I think I'll play something else. Like, nah, I'm gonna play more Until Dawn. Screw it.
I'm glad that I played it for sure. And it's probably on my short list for Game of the Year.
Oh wow!
It would be on my list as well.
It probably wouldn't end up being number one because let's face it, Fallout's coming out this year. But
yeah, it would never have been on mine. It would have been on it for like a mechanical reason of like stuff mattering. And,
the game looked amazing as well. I just want to put that out there.
Was a pretty game.
I can tell you what doesn't look amazing is when you pause the game and you have people's heads and they're just doing they're moving to show that like, look at this facial capture, it's amazing. But they're doing things that people never do. They're just like just really exaggerated movement that you don't do.
I feel like that's why the psychiatrist guy looks really weird, because he was doing maybe it was his first time doing like facial capture like that or something, and he was overacting to compensate.
Maybe.
I feel like that's what he was doing.
Maybe.
But I don't know, in a weird way, I kind of like his weird facial expressions because they creep me out, so it works.
Yeah.
I really liked those little chapter breaks with that, because initially I noticed what was going on. I'm like, this is really fucking cool. And initially I thought like when I saw the trailers and then I saw him in it, and then as I was playing the game, and in between every chapter break you talk to him, and every now and then you would see like a series of monitors too, like with like cameras and stuff like that. I'm like, is this some kind of like because I had some brief, not spoilers, but I had some brief like things revealed to me, and in my head I'm thinking like, oh man, like, you know, is there something else at play here that is maybe something very Cabin in the Woodsy. I don't know if you guys have ever seen that movie.
Yes, I have.
No.
It's good.
Yeah, really good horror movie. Really good. Puts a genre on its
I
head.
wouldn't necessarily like I like I said, I don't deal well with horror. I managed to watch that just fine.
Yeah, Cabin in the Woods.
It's not like horror. It's sort of
It's very funny.
It's
well.
almost satire.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
It's like a satirical homage to the horror genre.
Exactly.
Without being horrifying. Sort of like Tucker and Dale is, but Tucker and Dale sort of goes absurd with it.
Yeah.
Whereas Cabin in the Woods is a bit more subdued.
Both good movies. So I thought maybe something like that was going on. Like this was all just kind of, and well, technically it kind of was. I don't actually know what that psychiatry office is because things are clearly going weird in there. Yeah, I'm gonna assume it was all.
Like
I'm gonna assume it was all in the person's head.
Yeah,
It was everything was in his head.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because like you notice like as it goes deeper into the game, there's like a tree in there and shit, and it's like, well, okay, either he's wearing
place is falling apart.
Either he's wearing those glasses from Heavy Rain, or this is in his head. But yeah, I'm really glad I played it.
The twist, the big twist in that game. I think Ebby saw it coming. I saw it coming. Did you see it coming, Bill? Because I know that there was a moment where you're like, "What? No, I wanted to do this." But it did that.
There's a point in the game where you could pick who to save as Chris, and it doesn't fucking matter. And I looked it up. I didn't look up the details, but I just googled like, "Yo, could you actually fucking save Josh here? Because that's ridiculous." Like I picked him, and people are like, "Nah, don't worry about it." I'm like, "Okay, fine. I guess I don't know." I didn't immediately assume anything about the person. I just assumed maybe there was something keeping them alive. But I can't sit and say I saw it coming because I kind of didn't. Not in that way anyway. I felt bad for him.
I actually felt really bad for Josh.
Yeah.
There was one point, like, towards the end of the game where I'm like, please save him. Do whatever it takes.
Yeah.
Just please save him. He just needs help. I know he just needs help and he's a bit of a twat, but I just want him to be okay.
I think for me, they went a little bit too far with him early on for me to be, like, on the tragic hero type side of, yeah, he deserves help or whatever. I think he took... Like, I understand why he did what he did, but I felt like he did it too much too soon for me to then sort of go back on it and say, actually, help him.
I mean, he didn't intend for anyone to die.
True. Except for, he was dropping the saw blades.
It is true.
Until Dawn, very, very good game.
Good game, play it. If you have a PS4, definitely play it. One of the better exclusives on there.
Or if you don't like the horror games, just watch someone else play it, because then you can just have it playing in the background.
Yeah. And if you want to still play it, have friends over. As far as I hear, it's a really great party game.
It is. It really is.
It just sounds so weird. Come on, Mario Party, we party you until dawn. I mean, I guess it's like the sort of slumber party, let's watch a horror movie type thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sort of.
Yeah.
Which I never did. I was never invited.
Well, I mean, to be fair, I was never at a horror movie slumber parties either.
Well, I was never at a slumber party.
So I never called them slumber parties.
Or whatever. I suppose I had a couple of sleepovers.
Well, I mean, they're
played games.
Yeah.
All games, all the time.
Yo, come over for a slumber party.
Sleepovers. Sleepovers were the best part of my childhood.
There was always something really oddly special about the sleepover. I never at this day, I look at it and I go, I don't understand why. Like, man, I'm sleeping over tonight. This is fucking awesome. I hang out with you every day, but tonight I'm sleeping in your house. This is fucking great.
Yeah, now that I think about it, it's kind of weird.
But I guess because it enabled you to stay up late with your friend when you were little, and it was that.
Well, it meant that you had more time to do what you wanted to do.
Me and my friend, her name was Laura, used to just stay up until like 3 a.m. talking about philosophy when we were like 12. Well, not 12. It would have been like 13 or 14, I guess.
We had a family friend whose kid would stay over a lot, and I would never be able to sleep because he'd be because I was older than him, and he'd constantly be asking me ridiculously deep questions, and I'd be like, "All right, I'll answer this as best I can in a closed way. He cannot possibly follow up." But he's got like the 2-year-old mentality of why. So then, no matter what you say, he will find the question to follow it up with. I'm like, I have school in the morning, please.
Ken Ross.
Yeah.
I've got news for you.
Oh God. Oh God.
They've added more plushies to the Hatful Boyfriend. So you can get Yuya, and you can get Angel.
Oh, Angel.
And you can get Nageki, who's my favorite.
Oh no. I wish I hadn't said Nageki.
I know.
Now I feel like Angel. Well, I mean, I'm not going to look at it because the 3 that I saw, they didn't look that great. I mean, I'd know that they had a full boyfriend, but they just looked like weird birds. I'm going to be talking about had a full boyfriend later.
How do I get a Nageki? How do I get a Nageki?
Abby, stop looking. Stop looking. We'll work it out later.
I have to get a Nageki.
Well,
Sorry, for those of you who don't know, there's a Kickstarter currently going on for Hatful Boyfriend official plushes, right?
Mm-hmm.
The goal was $25,000. They're now at 61,000 with 30 days to go.
You showed me on Tuesday and it had like 28.
Yeah.
That's loaded.
Yeah. People really want the Hatful Boyfriend plushies.
Can't blame them, to be honest.
They're pretty cool. They're pretty cool.
I mean, can I use that as a segue to talk about Hatful Boyfriend?
Yeah.
We're being a bit weird. We're not doing it in bulk at the minute. So, you may remember episode 16. We all played Hatful Boyfriend. Mm-hmm. We each played a route. I have 100%ed that game now. It's amazing. If it had come out this year, it might have been a contender for my game of the year.
What?
Seriously, I have never been so invested. Admittedly, like 90% of my "this is amazing" comes from the second half of the game after you've finished all the routes, because that it's sadly lacking in Oko-san. He's only in like 2 scenes. You play from Ryota's point of view, and basically all of the little bits in each of the routes that you're like, that's a little bit weird. Why is that going on? Or in Bill's route, he went with Kazuaki, the teacher. Mm-hmm. I know who the photo is. Like all the little tiny bits that make sense in the individual routes, they just get all tied together and explained. And then I was thinking, oh man, now I know why this scene happened and this scene happened. It was a roller coaster. Some of the routes are a little bit disappointing. Like Sakuya's route without the epilogue is unfulfilling, I suppose I'll say. Similarly, we weren't sure whether there were good ends or bad ends. There is just the ends. There is no good or bad, so Abby was worried that Ryota's mum died because she took the job from him. That doesn't matter. She's going to die anyway. Spoilers.
Okay.
But I think you get an extra small scene if you give him the job. The only other ones with epilogues were Shu and Oko-san. Oko-san's is probably the best route of them all. Just for the epilogue.
Oh god.
But I really, honest to God, want us all to play together because I want to see/hear your reactions to that second route or that second end as we go through.
Certainly.
If you don't remember, it turns into sort of a murder mystery type thing. You're trying to work out what's going on. It sort of explains the world a bit more as to why you are the only human in a bird school, the only human that you see, and why everything's gone to crap. So honest to God, play it because it's great.
The problem is, I'm in the mood for a visual novel, but I'm not in the mood for Hatful Boyfriend because I'm still in the part where it's a bit silly. Like, I want a serious thing because I've got to recomplete redo all the routes that I did before anyway because I cleared off my computer and Hatful Boyfriend doesn't have cloud saves. So,
well, if you want someone to keep you company whilst you go through these silly routes, then I'm more than happy to.
we should play it together.
Mm.
I've been super into visual novels lately, so I don't know why I haven't jumped on this.
I mean, it's ideal. Each route only takes an hour.
Problem is, I'm wanting something more long form because I've been playing. Oh, this is what I want to talk about. I'm going to segue if that's okay.
Yeah, I will just say that the second half is a lot longer than an hour. It took me a couple of days to get through.
Wow.
Only because I only had a couple of hours each day, but still, it's a lot longer. So.
Is that the Hurtful Boyfriend?
Yeah.
Stuff, okay. So I've been playing Amnesia, which is...
I forgot about that.
Which is an Otome game that is one of the only ones that's been properly released on the West, and B, on a platform that most people have access to. Because most Otome games that come out in this sort of region come out on the PS Vita. Which, who's got a PS Vita? So,
I do.
if you're ever selling your PS Vita, let me know. So, I don't want to talk too much about the game. I might have a Let's Play coming out of it soon, though. Mm. And I just want to point out, I ordered the limited edition. The limited edition got here today.
Yeah. Comes
with an art book, CD, like the soundtrack, a set of 5 coasters, and a body pillow. What's missing from that limited edition?
The game.
Yeah, it doesn't come with the game. You can buy it with the game, but they just apparently email you a Steam code. They already had the game, so I guess that works out quite nicely since they already had the game. But it's a bit weird that they don't have
even like
any physical copies of the game.
So does the CD come in like a nice looking box to keep it in, or is it just like a standard jewel case?
It's a jewel case CD.
That's kind of disappointing.
The art book's really cool. The reason that I bought it was because of the body pillow, gotta be honest. If you couldn't tell. So now I have a set of 5 very fancy Amnesia coasters. And yeah. That's my life.
It's an alright life, I suppose.
And I play Long Live the Queen as well.
Yeah.
Which apparently everyone thinks is like the Dark Souls of Otome games because it's so damn difficult. And I completed it on my second playthrough, so
I still can't get past like the ballroom, the dance.
God. I will admit that game is like, how are you supposed to know what you need to
read
study?
a wiki.
Because for those of you who don't know what it is, it's an Otome game that's not really a dating sim. It's more like a social sim, I guess. I don't know what you call it. But it's really heavily stat based. So you have 4... I don't know how to explain it. Like 4 sections that all have like 4 or 5 subsections in them, and each of those subsections has 3 different things that you can learn about. So it's got like about 100 things that you can learn about. Probably about 50, but are you going to say something?
I was trying to like give an example of one of the things.
Yeah, go for it.
But do I have the game installed?
Okay, so one of them is physical.
Okay,
and under physical is animal handling, and under animal handling you can learn to either learn about dogs, learn about falcons, or learn about horses.
Yeah.
And
there's everything is important.
Everything is important. You will need all the skills at least once.
Yep. But you don't know when you're going to need them.
But you don't know when you're going to need them. You don't know when you should study them. And I think I fluked my way through that second playthrough.
Plus your emotional state has an impact on how, like, you get a stat boost. If you, like, depending on your mood, you can, like, get a bonus to physical or to magic or whatever. And then you'll have debuffs to other stats. So you need to, during the day, you can do your lesson, and you can also like move around and visit the church or play with your friend or whatever, to try and affect your mood, to try and boost your bonus as much as possible.
I will say what
Freed.
seemed to work out for me was going archery and swordplay in the weapons section.
Mhm.
Lots in I don't remember what it was, like etiquette.
Mhm.
So you can fluke your way through like events and stuff. And then everything else went into magic, like divination,
Yeah.
and then when you get the lumen magic, just everything went into sense magic, wield magic, and whatever the last one was.
See, I know that divination is important, but I could never get it up fast enough. The
Divination's
mood
like so important.
balancing was really tough for me to get right.
Yeah, it's a hard game. It's a really hard game. If you're into your stat-based games and you're looking for something that's a bit more challenging, that one is probably your best bet. It's also really cheap on Steam. It's like always really cheap on Steam, so
It's always like in the seasonal sales. It's always in there as well. So with winter coming up, maybe it's worth waiting for Christmas sales.
yeah, maybe.
If you're a bit on the fence about it, but
yeah, I just wanted to bring up Long Live the Queen because I did it.
congratulations,
Thank you. Got an achievement for that stuff.
man. Now I've played so much. I don't know whether I should be interjecting with small bits or we should go into the big stuff. I'll quickly interject. I finished Broken Age. I originally Let's Played the first act, and then I started Let's Playing the second act, and life got away from me, and I couldn't ever get back to it. So I just, it was a free PlayStation Game of the Month, so I downloaded it and finished it. I had to use a walkthrough on a couple of the puzzles because. So Act 1, a lot of criticism, I guess, of the game was that the puzzles were very, very simple. Like, I fluked my way through half of them, I think, and the others didn't take much thinking. It was more trying to find them. And the second act, the puzzles definitely got a lot harder and a lot more obtuse in sort of classical point-and-click adventure game style. So I did have to use walkthroughs for them. Because I got to the point where I feel like an idiot for not being able to work something out, and then I look at the walkthrough and I'm like, I don't feel like an idiot at all. There is no possible way that a sane human being would have realized that you've got to look at this particular picture and then work out the color coordination that's unique to you to solve a puzzle. And ultimately, I enjoy the documentary more than I do the game. I felt like it ended a lot sooner than I thought it was going to. Like Act 2 starts to get going, and then suddenly it resolves itself. And I was like, oh, okay then. I guess that solves everything. I mean, I enjoyed it, but...
Was it everything you hoped for?
I mean, I have never hadn't played a point-and-click adventure game, so I wasn't getting it from the nostalgia point of view. I just liked the idea. And I'm a sucker for documentaries and things, so I backed it mostly for the documentary, which I can now actually watch. So I would probably say, if you haven't played it yet, and you're kind of on the fence about it, I'd wait for it to be in a sale. I'm not convinced that it's worth quite the full price.
Or, I mean, if you got it for free on PlayStation.
Or if you got it for free on PlayStation, you can't argue with that because it was free. Oh, that reminds me. I will say one thing about Hatoful Boyfriend. Because it's cross-play. Well, not cross-play. Yeah, it is. On PS Vita and PS4. Don't play it on the PS Vita.
Hard to read?
No, it's perfectly fine to read. But play it on the PS Vita. Realize that some of the stuff somehow has to be made simpler in terms of the graphics so that it doesn't overload the system, which is really weird. But the other thing is, if you like listening to the sound, you're going to have a horrible time because for no particular reason, no one knows why, they just know it happens, the sound will basically go to crap. It'll sound tinny and it'll keep crackling and going in and out of... it'll play and then stop and stutter and things. And It's just awful.
Great.
So you can play it on the Vita, but play it with the sound off, or just play it on the PS4.
Okay.
Goof tip.
That seems really weird that they goofed up such a simple...
Yeah, that's why no one can work out what the hell it is. It just happens, and it's not consistent at all. It's not like, oh, I've been playing for an hour and a half, it suddenly falls apart. It'll be like, I'll boot it up. It's already broken. But then I go into a new scene and it works perfectly fine, and then halfway through the scene it stops working. It's just... yeah.
Weird.
I think that's all the little bits I played.
Bill, why don't you talk about a game? Because
You've been very quiet.
listening to us babble on about visual novels.
I started playing Tales of Zestiria off the PS4, which I'm not going to play anymore.
Okay.
I don't hate it. I rented it. There's a lot of games coming out like around now, and like I'm gonna start my gameplay back up because I like in my head I'm like I gotta buy them all. I gotta have them. So I can play them when I want. But I figured I had $1 promotion for GameFly. For $1 I renewed my month and rented Zestiria. So I'll throw it in. JRPG and the PS4. I mean, granted it's a port of the PS3 version and it's not made ground up for the PS4, but there aren't many JRPGs hanging out on the current gen yet. So I decided to check it out after only playing a little bit of the Tales series in the past, and I'm starting to wonder if I really like JRPGs or not. Because every one I start, I have zero patience to even play it. Like after 5-10 hours of it, like the only exception to that has been Persona, and I love Persona. But after a major spoiler kind of hit my motivation to play Persona, but even before the major spoiler that hit me with Persona 4, I was like, okay, I played 25 hours of Persona. I don't feel like playing it anymore. Like, I don't feel like going through the battles and optimizing my party and fusing Persona and doing all the shit. I'm like, I have no fucking patience to do that anymore. I don't feel like playing it anymore. Zestiria, I played about 5-10 hours of it. I'm like, I don't feel like playing this anymore. I don't feel like messing with the arts. I don't feel like messing with my guy's gear. Like, I don't know what it is, and it's weird because, like, I always say, like, you do like JRPG? I go, yeah, I like JRPGs. Like, I have many games throughout my life that I can say, like, yeah, I like that game. Like, I love Lost Odyssey. Like, I haven't beaten it, but I didn't beat Lost Odyssey for a reason because it was stolen from my house. So
Yeah,
It was lost, you say.
that's a pretty good reason. Yeah, that was a stolen Odyssey, and so. But I think there are games where I can say, yeah, I like those games. But nowadays, like man, I can't wait for the JRPGs to start coming out. When I say that about like PS4 and stuff, like, fucking, do I really? Like, am I really gonna play them? Cause I'm playing Zestiria and like I'm playing it. I'm like, hey, this is cool. It's got cool tunes. I'm playing with the English dub on not for the reasons of the English dub being better, but just for the fact that when I used to play JRPGs, like, we have these awesome little jingles in the towns and they have really bad voice acting. And the voice acting is for some characters in particular in Zestiria, I think the dub's kind of shit. But I kind of like it in that it's shit. If that makes any sense. The character Mikleo sounds like absolute garbage. When I watched the gameplay video of it before I rented it, and I'm like, is that really how this fucking kid's gonna talk the whole game? But whatever. So I'm playing it, and I don't know. I don't want to play it anymore. Like I don't know what it is about JRPGs and me not having the patience to go through them. And it's weird because I have the patience to play MMOs. Like, I have the patience.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense to me.
Like Final Fantasy 14, I had the patience to go through the entire storyline of that game just to play the fucking expansion pack I just paid money for. But I don't have the patience to play like Zestiria. I think it's a weird thing in my head where, like, okay, I'm building all these characters up, and in Zestiria's, the story isn't anything to write home about. You know what I mean? So, like, for someone to say, oh, you're playing it for the story, it's like, yeah, I guess I am. But I mean, Zestiria's, it's your typical thing where, like, oh man, the shepherds, and the only person who could see them is you, and you are the only one who could take back the darkness because you're the only one who could see them, and you got a special glove. And it's like, all right, I get it. Let's go watch an anime. But with MMO, it's like when I level up my guys and I spend that much time doing it, it's for a reason. You know what I mean? Like, that character is persistent through 10 years. My fucking soiree on Tales of Zestiria lasts me 40 hours. It's weird. I don't know why. It's a weird thing in my head where the only RPGs I've completed lately are Western RPGs. And I guess it makes sense because I'm an American. I don't know. Like you could look at that and go, well, it's because you're an American. But like at the same time, like I love anime and I've always thought I loved JRPGs. But playing Zestiria, I sat and thought to myself, do I really fucking even like this? So good game though. I assume if you like Tales games, it's good. It takes an open world approach, more so than the overworld from like Abyss, where everywhere you're going is based on you going onto a big map. The only problem is, though, is so far in the beginning of the game anyway, I obviously haven't played it for 30 hours, is that these maps are just as boring as if you were walking on the Tales of the Abyss overworld. Instead of you being on a miniature green field, you're on a life-size green field, and there's still nothing on it, really. So that's cool.
I mean, I felt that way about a lot of games, of just generally wondering if I even enjoy that. And this month has probably been the most productive gaming, well, I say month, between last episode and this episode has been the most productive at gaming I have ever been. I think I've finished 3 games and made significant progress in others. And I think you just need to be in that right mindset, and it just suddenly clicks, and you can just go, okay, yeah, I'm fine with.
And that's the thing. Like I sit there and I'm like, do I really like it? But then like like you just said, I mean, like the right mindset and even the right place and time. Like right now, I'm trying to fit Zestiria in between now and Fallout, which is only going to disservice Zestiria, which is why I ended up renting it. You know what I mean? Like if I would have bought Zestiria, it would have been a waste of money because Fallout's coming out in 5 days. That's the RPG I want to be playing. Like Zestiria is a long game. I don't have time to be juggling them both at the same time. You know, like but at the same time, I haven't been in a good spot to play a JRPG in a while because whether it's MMOs, Destiny, or other big games, the Bloodborne DLC comes out later this month as well.
Goddamn Bloodborne.
JRPGs just have a hard time fitting into my life, and I want to love them. I bought so many for the Vita, and like, when the fuck am I gonna play them? Do I even like them? I don't fucking know. But
I played Bloodborne, by the way.
I remember on Skype.
Yeah.
How'd that go?
It sucks,
Sounds
Bill.
like it went really well.
It sucks, Bill. Do you want to know what I did for 2.5 hours of my life? I tried to slap a wolf to death.
Yeah, you shouldn't do that.
There was nothing else. There was no other way. I had to try and slap a wolf to death.
It's funny when you told me you rented Bloodborne, I knew how it was gonna go.
Yeah, I found a UK game rental service because Love Film went away, and for a long.
Did it?
Yeah, well, Love Film still sort of exists. It's part of Amazon, but they don't do the games anymore. They're just purely DVDs and Blu-rays. So I've been trying to find a game rental for a long time. I was like, all right, I found one. I'm on a free trial. Let's try Bloodborne. Tried to slap a wolf to death for 2.5 hours. My problem was, I eventually got to a point where I was like, okay, I understand. Because I eventually twigged, if he hits me and I slap him enough, I get some health back. So I just need to sort of time that right. My problem was that his tells weren't brilliant, and sometimes his tell for like him slapping me, that attack will do 1/3 of my health bar. Another time, it'll be the same tell, and he'll slap me 5 times and instantly kill me, or he'll slap me once and then bite my face off. Maybe if I wasn't getting so pissed off at it, I'd noticed that there was a slight difference between each of his pre-slap animations.
Yeah.
But ultimately, it came to a point of I'll slap him and then run away until he gets caught in the corner a bit, and then I'll slap him in the arse and then run away.
There's
and he'll just pounce on me and I'll die.
The
So
game's it's interesting. It's funny.
Now you're going to it's a weapon in that room when I said, how close do I have to be to something to see if it's pick-upable?
Oh, well, if something's pick-upable, it'll have a little white glow on it.
Okay,
like a little white dot. Interactable objects that are breakable, just assume anything made of wood you can break.
I will also say, I did get to a point where I was like, maybe I'm not supposed to attack this wolf. I'll just try and sneak. I died.
Oh yeah, they'll attack you. Everything is hostile.
You can't avoid that battle because I think that
is that on the bridge?
Dark Souls, I was told that you're supposed to avoid like the first big battle. You're supposed to sort of wander around, sneak past, and come back later. So I thought, maybe that's what's going on now. You've got to slap that wolf.
Bloodborne's a very offensive game compared to Dark Souls. That might have been right in Dark Souls, but in Bloodborne, everything is you gotta take that shit head on. And I know in Bloodborne, as far as tells go, I never really noticed any tells on the wolves that like, oh man, that's that move and this is this move. It's just dodging and parrying with your gun. like as soon as the wolf's about to attack you, like cancels animation midway by shooting him with a gun, and it'll stun him. And then if you hold
I'd
R1,
do that if I had a gun. You know what I had? I had my slap hand and my punch
you
hand.
didn't have the gun yet. Oh, I see.
No, it was literally the first thing in the game.
I'm trying to think. Well, we can talk about. I can talk about my hints for Bloodborne another time. I'm trying to
Well, I
think.
don't have it anymore.
Yeah, I was like, I don't have it anymore anyway. I'm thinking in my head by that part in the game you should have a gun, but I don't remember. It's been a long time since I played from the beginning. Yeah, I knew that's how it was gonna go. Not like.
I mean, I didn't expect. I wasn't like, I'm gonna bloody finish Bloodborne.
Yeah.
I just thought I'll give it a go, and
I'm glad you gave it a go.
I had to resign myself to not even be able to defeat the first enemy I saw.
Oh, that's that part.
Yeah, literally the beginning.
Oh, yeah.
Where all you have is your hands.
Yeah, you're supposed to die there.
I did die.
And then
a lot.
And then it should take you somewhere else.
I got taken to like a place where there's a lot of graves.
Yeah.
But it kept pointing me to go to the place where I died. So I'm like, all right, I'll keep going in. And then it kept respawning me in that area. So I'm like, all right. So what you're saying is I wasn't actually supposed to try to slap that wolf to death.
I think I'm trying to remember.
What you're saying is
the beginning
the
of the
game made me waste. So the beginning of the game where he puts some blood in you and things come out of the ground in like a cinematic, and you're like tied to the desk, and then you're no longer tied to the desk, and you start wandering around. And he's like chewing a body on the floor. There's a load of tables, like 8 tables. Yeah, that one.
I'm trying to remember. I know you're supposed to die there because you go to the hunter's dream, and then
Yes.
I'm trying to remember.
But nothing like
honestly, in my head, I'm trying to remember what happens after that, and I can't.
The grave that takes you to, or whatever it is, that takes you to that area where I kept dying, that had like a little fire animation type thing to it. So it's like, clearly this is active. None of the others had that. So maybe, I don't know whether that's
you'll get those later in the game. Those lead to other worlds and stuff like that.
Okay, so I didn't know. Like, I then started to wonder when I send it back, am I supposed to, is it like the rune things in Destiny where it'll only activate when you're close enough? And so actually I was supposed to go up that like stairway or whatever. I'm like, nah, I've got to slap this wolf.
I'm trying to remember the beginning of the game, but I can't. It's been a while. But yeah, I also played a little bit of the Mad Max game. I'm not gonna talk about that very much. I only played it for about 3 hours so far, but I like it.
Yeah.
We got a lot of shit from people, shit from critics, not a lot of shit from users. The users kind of really enjoyed it because it also had a really good PC port that people praised a lot. Avalanche did a good job with it apparently, and if you like Mad Max, you'll probably enjoy it. I mean, there's nothing bad about the game. People praised Mordor. I mean, primarily for its Nemesis system, but I honestly wasn't too hot on the Nemesis system to begin with. I think it didn't really pick up steam until halfway through the game. So the praise that game got, I don't understand why Mad Max didn't get the same. Maybe if it had the Nemesis system, I don't know. But like I said, the Nemesis system to me wasn't that much of a big feature. So the fact that Mordor got it and Mad Max didn't makes no sense to me because I feel like it really comes down to a preference of IP. You know, obviously there's a lot of Lord of the Rings fans, but Mad Max fans are also exist, and there's even more now with Fury Road out. So the car combat's fun, the combat's fun, the wasteland's cool, big map. If you like that kind of shit, if you like collecting stuff, and because there are people who do like that stuff. I mean, so for me, I get exhausted with those games sometimes, and every now and then I put one in the middle of my gaming tray, and you know, like this is what I'm gonna play now. I'm in the mood for something like that, or I just want to go around a map and like check off boxes. It worked in Mordor with me for about 25 hours, and I got bored. But there are people who really like that kind of shit, and it's why Assassin's Creed's so popular, among other things, like with history and everything. But people like that stuff. So if you like that stuff, Mad Max is fun.
Do you? Because that seems to be a thing. Is like critical failure, commercial, like consumers love it. Do you think that it's sort of like junk food type games of it's not a good game, but people just sort of indulge in it and enjoy the mindlessness? Is it a mindless game, or are you active in it?
I think some games, but I think Mad Max is generally a pretty well put together game. Like there's nothing about Mad Max that's like I get what you're saying. Like some games are just like Deadly Premonition. Is a game I could think of that got piss reviews, but like everyone loves it. It's like a cult hit where like everyone's just kind of like, hey, you know, this game is really technically a piece of shit, but there's something about it that, you know, people indulge in and people like it. Even Deadly Premonition, I maybe wouldn't even call that junk food game. That's a cold hit in a way that it's kind of psychologically a cold hit. But Mad Max, I think, is pretty generally well made game. Like, I can't look at it and go like, "Well, this game is shit." Like the game's beautiful. It's a pretty looking game. Has really great storm effects. The wasteland's really well done. The melee combat's your typical Batman stuff, but I feel like so far, what they've managed to do with it is, yeah, it feels like the typical. It seems like all of the Warner Brothers third person games, like Mordor, Batman. This, like, it seems like that's all they want to do is put this Batman Arkham combat in all of their games, and that's fine. It's fun, but this one's like, it feels really meaty and like heavy. Like
Yep.
I was disappointed because I was looking forward to the Mad Max game for a while. When I heard that it was going to be melee combat primarily, I was like, oh man, I kind of wish there was like an arsenal of weapons. But like, I understand why they did it. Like, it'd be kind of stupid because you could just pick guys off from halfway across a wasteland if you had guns. But like, this forces you to get into combat, and there are you have a shotgun and melee weapons you can make and pick up, and lots of customization for your car, and the character chum bucket's really funny, and the game's generally pretty well made. I think it was a case of critics criticized it because it didn't bring anything new. Oh, it's just another open world game, and yet like Syndicate got really good reviews, and like I'm not sliding. I haven't played Syndicate yet. Whatever.
From what I hear, it's very different in how it plays.
That's what I've been hearing. I mean, but
admittedly, people say it's been simplified to hell.
I mean, but when I watch gameplay footage of Syndicate and people open their map, I'm like, well, this looks like what people criticized in Mad Max, and it's like, well, I mean, why did Mad Max get put through the ringer? Like, I don't understand. Like,
because you can essentially fly in Syndicate with your grappling hook or something. So maybe it doesn't feel so much of a chore to go and collect all that stuff.
Well, I mean, driving around the wastelands...
I've not played or seen either.
Driving around the wasteland's pretty fun. Customizing your car's fun. I mean, it's weird to me, like, when I look at the reviews, like, it's getting 5 out of 10s and stuff. I'm looking at it, I'm like, initially, I'm like, oh, man, they must suck. But then, you know, as I watch people on Twitch, and I watch it as overwhelmingly positive on Steam, and I've, like, last time I checked a while ago, it was, like, 6,000 reviews. Like, people are genuinely enjoying this game, and I think it's a case of the critics were like, yo, it's another open world game, it's fucking bash shit. But then any other open world game that comes out, it's fine. You know, this game's fine. I don't understand. It doesn't help, but it came out the same day as Metal Gear Solid, another open world game that people were hell bent on loving, no matter what. Yeah. So it's interesting. It's an interesting narrative for the release of that Mad Max game. But I think if you like Mad Max, check it out. I'm having a lot of fun with it. 20 hours down the line, will I still be? I don't know. 20 hours down the line, I'm probably not gonna still be playing it because I'm gonna have another Wasteland game to be playing in 5 days. But
I played some of Metal Gear 1. On my Vita.
I tried to play Metal Gear 1. Fuck that game.
Yeah. I think Abby tried to play some of Metal Gear. Well, is Twin Snakes
Yeah, she
1?
did.
Yeah. Is Twin
I'm
Snakes?
I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's all right.
This is I'm going to segue into the topic I want to talk about because then we can give our review of Taken King. I don't think Taken King counts as a game we played as much as it's a discussion we want to have on Taken King. Because we both played it, and I mean, we'll talk about the Destiny expansion. This segues perfectly another opportunity for the thing I wanted to talk about.
Okay, all right.
And that is like because it works really well with Metal Gear, and it's weird because like I had a stance on this, and then when I think about Metal Gear, I'm like, well, my stance is kind of different. I always hear this like with Fallout coming out. Like, I haven't beaten Fallout 3. I played a lot of Fallout 3 back when it came out on Xbox, at least 30 hours of it. I got stuck, but I had a great time with it. I just never got around to getting back to beating it because I had to start over because I lost that save and whatever. But I played it a lot, you know what I mean, and I played New Vegas for about 5-10 hours. Like I'm not a super fan. Like, I love Bethesda's games, but I'm not a Fallout super fan. And in my head, I'm like, I want to try and beat Fallout 3 before Fallout 4 comes out. But then I'm like, I'll just play it afterwards. You know what I mean? I'll play Fallout 3 after Fallout 4. And when I tell people that, like, you know, I'll say that online. I'm like, oh man, it's gonna be so hard to go back and play Fallout 3 after playing Fallout 4 with all the new stuff. And in my head, I'm thinking, like, why? I mean, I go back and play Oblivion after I played Skyrim. You know, I went back and played. I mean, I played Morrowind, admittedly, and Oblivion before Skyrim, so it might be that I've already experienced those games with lesser mechanics. But like, I've gone back and played old games before, and I always hear us talking about the Tales games, like, oh man, you probably want to get the older Tales games out of the way first, you know, because if you play Xillia or Zestiria, you know, the new combat mechanics, it's gonna be kind of weird without them. It's like, well, they're just different games, though. I mean, like, you know, like, is it hard for you guys to go back and play older games, like after playing newer iterations of them? Metal Gear Solid, I had a really fucking hard time. I tried to play the PlayStation 1. I had the game on disc. I tried playing it. I can't fucking play that game. I can't play that game with its camera controls. The PlayStation 1 version, I can't do it. I can't fucking do it. I gave up. I fuck this. Games probably great, but I've gotten to a point in my life where I've played with dual analog for like 10 years and I can't do this anymore. I can't.
I really struggled. Like, I was in a call with Andy and he was basically walking me through it. And it's one of those things that people clearly love, and I want to know why, but I can't get through that first game. And that's clearly, like, it's a different story whether there's like a story thread. Like, I feel, okay, that is Zelda games, you can pick up pretty much any one and play it along, aside from like the odd ones that have sequels or whatever and make direct reference to something. But you could conceivably play any Zelda game in the franchise. Yeah. You couldn't just suddenly pick up Metal Gear 3 and necessarily know what's going on, because even if they're not chronologically in the right order, there's still stuff that's going to be going on that's going to be referencing 1 and 2, and you're going to not necessarily grasp everything. So I've been trying to get through Halo 1. I started with 3, and I'm playing Halo 1, and it is really, really hard to get through because you don't have sprinting, you don't have regenerating health. You've got to find health packs lying around, and they're just never when I need them. So yeah, I struggle. It's hard.
So I played Twin Snakes.
Mm-hmm. That's the GameCube one, yeah?
Yeah, with camera controls. Yeah.
And I want to get into Metal Gear because Andy loves Metal Gear. Really loves it. It's like his favorite franchise or something. I don't know.
I don't know.
Like, he ordered the Metal Gear 5 that came with the arm and whatever.
Yep.
So he loves that franchise, and I was just like, why though? I've never played it. And he bought Twin Snakes, even though he doesn't have a GameCube.
Yeah.
And was like, you could play this if you want. And I posted a picture of the game box on Twitter saying, I'm not very well, so I'm going to try playing this.
Yeah.
And I already found the game kind of frustrating anyway. Because I've never played a stealth game that's like Metal Gear. I've never really played a game that's like Metal Gear, and I just found it really frustrating, especially when it wasn't telling me what the buttons were. It was just like, press the crouch button without telling me what the crouch button was. And I'm like, okay.
How far did you get?
Not very far. Didn't even get out of the first room. Because what frustrated me was I had no idea what I was supposed to do, because there is no tutorial.
Well, the tutorial is a sort of... Well, the objective thing is a blink and you'll miss it type thing. Like, there's a like the video communication thing, and they'll be like, all right, there's some dudes down here, go to the elevator. And you'll be like, all right, I'm used to just skipping through and having like an objective marker or whatever, and then you're like, I don't know what I'm doing. Because it doesn't, at least on the Vita, it's not obvious that there is an elevator there that you can interact with. I don't know.
The problem was I was already struggling with the game and not really understanding what I was supposed to do. But since I posted specifically Twin Snakes box on Twitter, everyone was like, "You're playing the wrong version. Like, you should be playing the PS1 version because this version's pants." And everybody was saying that, and I was like, I don't have access to the PS1 version. So when I gave Andy Twin Snakes back, he was like, "Do you want to have a go on the PlayStation 1 version?" And I was like, sure. And just I couldn't even get out of that room. I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
So I guess Metal Gear is one of those things I'm never going to understand. Because I was like, maybe I'll try 5, because everyone's like, oh, you could totally play this game without playing the rest of them.
They always say that, though. And it's just like...
Equally, a bunch of people were going, no, you need to play the rest of the games to understand what's going on. So, I don't know. Yeah.
But, like, that's like the one game where I can like say, if someone told me, like, you know, you should play the old ones first, because if you play anything new, they'll feel outdated. I think Metal Gear in general just feels outdated, even if you haven't played the new versions of, like, if you went to play Metal Gear 5 and then went to go play Metal Gear 1, it would be like the most fucking just like, oh god.
I mean, I have never played a Metal Gear game other than Metal Gear 1. And I think that just after generally playing games that are more recent than it,
Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
just stuff that you expect that it doesn't give you. And I don't know whether it's just stuff that's come with the times that I've gotten used to, or if it's... Because aside from Volume, I've never played a stealth game. So I don't know if it's stuff that's just absent from the stealth genre that I'm not accustomed to just because I've never played them, or if it's just because it's an old game that controls in this weird way where circle means okay and not back.
I have a problem with Oblivion as well. I should bring this up. I can't play Oblivion. It's not that I don't want to. I tried to play it on the PC and it didn't work, and I tried to play it on the Xbox 360. But the reason that I specifically wanted to play it on the PC was so I could try and find a mod for the UI, because I don't like that UI. That's the only thing that stopped me from playing Oblivion, is that I didn't like the pause menu and how you equip stuff.
Ah, yeah. Yeah, it was still kind of old-timey.
I mean, in an RPG, that's a pretty big thing.
And I really didn't understand... I didn't understand lockpicking either. So I didn't get very far with that. And I was so desperate to like it as well, because I loved Skyrim and I wanted more of it. And Oblivion wasn't it.
Those are the interesting ones for me. Like what initially got me thinking about this was like with Fallout. Like someone said, "Oh man, you should play the old ones. You should play Fallout 3 and New Vegas first, because after Fallout 4, they're gonna feel outdated." And like at the same time, I feel like there's a certain time frame where like that happens. Like Metal Gear Solid 1 just becomes outdated in general. Not even in context with its series. You know what I mean? Like just in general, you go back and play Metal Gear Solid 1. It's not the game's fault. It came out what, like 1997. Before that, I don't even.
I mean,
remember.
at this point, anything that was controlled with one joystick and D-pads feels bloody weird. Like N64 stuff sort of gets away with it,
unless it had good
PS1
fixed camera, like a good fixed camera, like Brave Fencer Musashi or something, or Threads of Fate. Like there are certain games that work that don't feel as bad. This is why it's a weird thing when somebody says, "Oh, feel outdated." Like I don't think going from Fallout 4 to Fallout 3 is gonna feel that bad, especially because I've already played Fallout 3 enough to where I go back to this game, I know what to expect. Like maybe if you haven't played Fallout 3 at all, and Fallout 4 is your introduction, and then you go back and play 3, and it's like, okay, this is kind of weird. I never played this game before. I can, maybe. But
the thing is,
it's weird because like I feel like if you just realize it's a different game, it's weird that. I don't know. It's a weird topic because I don't think it's impossible to play old games after playing new ones. If you understand, like it's a different game. It came out earlier. I don't know.
We've just given really bad examples, apparently.
The thing is with like Fallout, going back to Fallout 3, I imagine that most of it's going to be like the little tiny improvements that they've made that ultimately all add up to big improvements. That's the sort of thing that could conceivably be modded into Fallout 3 after Fallout 4 comes out.
It depends if you're playing it on the console, because I feel like no one's going to go back to New Vegas on the console after Fallout 4 comes out, because New Vegas had horrible load times. It took like 2 minutes to load a really small area, and I don't know why, it just had really bad load times, and that was the thing that put me off of New Vegas.
I think it was dependent on how many saves you have.
I didn't have that many saves.
The more saves you have, the worse it gets. Because some people were getting like 10-minute loading times because they just saved so much.
Yeah, but I always had like the autosave going on. Which reminds me, I really need to learn to manage my saves better in Bethesda games. Because when I was switching my PC over, I took all my Skyrim saves and put them on an external hard drive just in case the cloud backup didn't work. I've got like 300 saves.
God.
But I don't know. I don't think there'll be a problem going back to Fallout 3, to be honest.
Yeah, I think
it'll look like ours because it's that horrible green-brown filter.
Which I liked because it fit in with the theme of the game.
Sure, but Fallout 4, it looks like an apocalyptic wasteland, but it doesn't look like someone shoved mud in my eyes.
But it's many, many years after the... I don't know. Never mind. I don't like the way that New Vegas looks particularly, because it's got the very like orange and brown theme going on, which I don't like. I personally prefer the like greens and blues because it feels more post-apocalyptic to me. But
fair enough.
Um, I don't think there'll be much of a problem going back to Fallout 3 because it's short comparatively. Like, you can finish that game 100% in probably about 60 hours.
I mean, you say comparatively. We don't actually know how long.
Comparatively to things like Skyrim.
Oh, okay.
Because there's rumors that Fallout 4 is at least 400 hours long, which, even if you compare that to Skyrim, that's a big game. That's a very big game.
Yeah.
It still comes down to whether it's 400 quality hours or if it's 400 JRPG hours.
Yeah, it's probably 400 hours to gut that game, like to where you've seen everything.
All the side quests, and then I'm gonna have to do multiple playthroughs. I want to try out different character builds. I want to try out different moralities. I want to play as a dude for the first time because of the voice acting. So there'll be stuff missing for sure. Like, there's no way that it's not. You're not gonna go back and go, well, it would have been better if this had been in it. But if you've already played a considerable amount of Fallout 3,
it's just going back and you're familiar with it already, you know.
Then I know for me it's going to be more like nostalgic than anything because I have very, very good memories with Fallout 3, so I'll probably always go back to it and enjoy it. But even if it was like, oh, you can't go back to Fallout 3 after Fallout 4, what's the problem? Because you've got Fallout 4 at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not like the games are connected in any sort of story manner, I suppose.
I mean, it's more like Zelda than Metal Gear. It is.
Yeah.
It feels weird because they do have the 1, 2, 3, 4 system, but they're not linked. Other than being in the same universe, it'd be like if Skyward Sword was called Legend of Zelda 12 or whatever number it is. You'd think, okay, crap, I've got to play 11 other Zelda games, but you don't.
Zelda gets away with it though because Zelda doesn't have like a specific formula really, like in terms of its gameplay. Because the Link Between Worlds is totally different from Ocarina of Time. And,
they all have a different thing to play with that are that are its own.
So I feel like Zelda gets away with it.
Yeah, where Fallout is like, you know, the core Fallout gameplay loop, and it's gonna be present in every one from now on. But
which is fine. That's what I want.
Yep.
Give me Fallout 4. I need it now. Come on.
I'm going to preemptively say I am very sorry if I don't like Fallout 4. Because I was
I was watching the launch trailer today. If you want to go into that game completely spoiler-free, do not watch the launch trailer. I regret my choices.
Okay.
So bad. But I know that Mr. Jefferson's voice actor is in it now from Life is Strange, so...
Oh, Life is Strange, eh?
I don't want to talk about Life is Strange. I'm ignoring the fact that I finished that game.
Let me take you back to the mystical time of, like, episode 19. Where Abby was regaling how amazing Fallout 4 Life is Strange was.
I mean, I probably was talking about how amazing Fallout 4 is, to be fair.
We did do a video on Life is Strange. Whether that comes out is another question entirely. But I
don't want to talk about it again.
I'm going to just say I played Life is Strange from beginning to end in about 4 days. I started playing it the Saturday before episode 5 came out because everyone was like, "My God, that end to episode 4," and the game is clearly important. The choices matter. Spoilers potentially, by the way, because I am incredibly pissed off. And episode 5 was like the biggest letdown I could have expected from a game.
You weren't waiting for 2 months, 3 months for it.
I felt disappointed after waiting like an hour. Like, I played episode 4, I was like, I'm not going to touch episode 5 until tomorrow, the day after. I waited an hour and a half, and I was disappointed. I was like, there are people who waited 2 months, or whatever it was, to get this. And this is why episodic gaming is never a good thing to play along as the episodes come out. If you can play an episodic game just all in bulk, it's a lot less distressing, I imagine. You just have to avoid all the spoilers and things.
You know what? I thought that Minecraft Story Mode was going to come out every 2 weeks, because I noticed that they'd released episode 2.
Yeah.
It's not.
No, I don't know why they did that. But, yeah, I enjoyed about 3/4 of my time in episodes 1 to 4, and then episode 5 just pissed me off.
Yep.
I
really don't want to talk about Life is Strange anymore. I'm so fucking fed up with that game.
The ultimate end pissed me off, but all the stuff that happened throughout and loopholes and plot holes and things, they just all came all at once and left me very unsatisfied and very angry, as Twitter may recall. So yeah, I'll be playing Walking Dead season 1 and 2. I'm sure that's going to be wonderful, but I know that doesn't really matter so much. So going in it with a different mindset.
So I take it I should avoid Life is Strange then, huh?
You can play the
problem is the first 4 episodes are so good that I'm like, yeah, you should play it.
There are points in the first 4 episodes that are good, but then when you think the stuff that happens in episode 5, you're like, yeah, that's sort of just. It's one of those situations where people say it's not about the ending, it's about the journey.
Fuck that. Yeah, I hate those people.
Well, you said that about Xenoblade.
No, because that's not a choice-based game.
Yeah,
where
in this instance, the end absolutely can destroy the journey. The journey is completely pointless if the end sucks. And the end sucks. Well, particularly the end that I wanted sucks, I will say. God damn.
That's an interesting... This sounds like a Mass Effect 3 situation.
A lot of people are comparing it to that, actually.
Yeah.
Where everyone says it ruins the game. And I'm not typically of the mind that the journey is what matters, but in Mass Effect 3's case, I felt that the ending didn't ruin any of the amazingness that came before it.
Well, the thing about Mass Effect 3, or Mass Effect, is that it is a game, it is a third-person shooting adventure game, I guess, with choices in it. Life is Strange is a choice game. There isn't anything else to it.
That's true.
So
it's like a point-and-click, choice-based game.
Yeah. So it's like if Mass Effect was purely just choice, and then the end sucked, people were pissed off, but people would be more pissed off. And it was one of those things where it just soured the entire experience. For me. There are people that liked it. That is fine. You are welcome to like it. I'm not crapping on you, but for me, I think I am most pissed off because I got invested, and I don't tend to get invested that much.
That'll teach you.
Yeah, that is what it's done to me. It has made me think I should not get invested in this sort of thing anymore because it's going to turn out like I think it will and just be awful and make me feel like I wasted my time. And energy. Like, a good hour and a half of my 16 or so playthrough is probably me just sat thinking about what I should do.
Yeah.
And,
is there going to be a season 2?
They're hinting at it.
I'm not going to touch it until it's finished.
I know I'm going to fucking play it, even though this one was a fucking disappointment.
Yeah. I really, like, as much as I got super angry in it and probably didn't get my point across well, I really do hope that video comes out because it explains better.
I feel like I have to play it now just to see.
I'd wait for it to be in the winter sale. Do not buy it at full price.
Yeah, I'd say that's a good thing, and just enjoy it at your own pace.
Yeah. And don't read the patch notes.
The patch notes apparently have spoilers in them.
Well, I was reading the patch notes for episode 5, and scrolled down to the bottom, and like the top comment on Steam had loaded up, and it was a spoiler. So, an episode 4 spoiler. So, yeah.
Sorry to hear.
But Mr. Jefferson made it into Fallout 4, so. I was watching the trailer and I was like, holy shit.
Does it look like
Mr.
him?
Jefferson? No.
Oh.
I like Mr. Jefferson's voice though, so I'm okay with it.
Yeah, it's alright. There are worse actors. Hey, while we're talking about things that super piss me off, can we talk about Destiny?
Destiny, the Taken
You talk
King.
about Destiny.
Yeah, Abby, you can go get a drink.
One of one of my favorite experiences this year. I'll start off.
Okay.
That. No, I mean that's how I'll start.
Oh, right.
Off.
Okay. So we're giving our footnotes, are we? Or head notes, I suppose. So I am seriously undecided about how I feel with Taken King, purely because the stuff that I like a lot. The stuff I don't like, I really, really don't like, and it again sours half of my experience. And so I don't know. I'll say I still play it nearly every day to get my bounties done and things, but I don't know why. The gameplay is still fun, so I guess there's that.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know why I'm still playing, even though it's pissed me off so much. So we'll let you get into why you like it, and then I'll tell you why you're wrong, or that I agree with.
The Taken King's been interesting because this has kind of been Bungie's Reaper of Souls moment. And a lot of people were hoping it would have been Bungie's Reaper of Souls moment. And for people who don't know what that means, it means Diablo 3 came out and it was pretty much hated by everybody. I didn't find it to be that bad, but I understood where people came from. And I stopped playing it for those reasons, even though I didn't hate the game. It's a really weird, similar trajectory to what happened with Destiny. And, you know,
They brought in the Reaper of Souls, the Diablo 3 people.
Yeah, they did give them
and they had
advice
like a conference or whatever. It's like, this is what you need to do.
Yeah.
And,
so it is funny, like people use that as like a way to describe it, but they literally talked to those fucking guys.
Yeah.
They literally talked to the game director of Reaper of Souls, and he was like, "Yo," like gave him the rundown, like, you know, like how to take a game that. But it's funny because when it comes to Destiny, you know, this game has kind of had a weird path anyway, you know, because it came out and everyone was hyped for it, and for the first week everyone was playing it and having a good time, but you know, as the second week and the third week unfolded, you know, the problems with the game came to light. And as somebody who was excited to play it and wanted to keep it as my main game for a while, you know, because I like loot games, you know, I didn't really want to like look at those problems and you know, I was kind of, they're gonna fix it, you know, they're Bungie, you know, they are on top of things, and it took them a while to get to the point where I can sit there and say like, hey, you don't have Destiny, you should buy it if you're into this, because what Taken King did is it didn't change what Destiny is and was. Like, in terms of what Destiny still is, it's still fundamentally the same game as vanilla Destiny. What Taken King did was change what was bad about the systems in place in Destiny. Like, you're still going to grind for loot. Like, there's no avoiding that at all. Like, the grind is lessened in certain ways, in the way that you're able to enter the raids and whatnot. Like, for example, Kinross, you're at the point where you could enter the raid right now. If this was vanilla Destiny, you might not be able to enter it yet, even after playing as much as you have.
Because of all they got rid of the light leveling up.
Yeah, there's a lot of fundamental changes to the existing systems. So what I mean by when I say that they didn't change what Destiny was, they just changed what was bad about its systems, is that it still has a light level, and for people who may read about Destiny and like, you know, that, because that was one of the things people really fucking hated about vanilla Destiny, myself included. I didn't progress anywhere past Vault of Glass because once the other DLCs came out, I'm like, I don't give a shit to be equipping gear with a light stat to get my level up. It's like, this is what fuck it, you know.
It just didn't make sense. Well, I didn't do any. I'm yet to do a raid, but the light leveling system just made no sense to me. Like, I didn't understand how it worked.
I don't understand why they thought that was a good idea to begin with. Like, when they sat there and like, this is the way we should make it. Like,
I don't know why they didn't just say, yeah, we'll let you level up to level 30 by experience.
Yeah. So with Taken King, one of the big improvements they touted was that, hey, leveling up to level 40. Yeah. Leveling up to level 40 is all experience based. You will hit max character level by experience. And then light level still exists. And the way light level exists within the game now is it exists very much like World of Warcraft or Final Fantasy XIV's item level, which it could technically just be renamed item level because it works the same way. In World of Warcraft and Final Fantasy XIV and other MMOs I probably haven't played have an item level stat that enables you to enter certain activities. Like in World of Warcraft, in order for you to do the raid, you need to maybe, I don't know what the item levels are up to now in WoW. They've fucking raised exponentially over the years. It might be like 680 or something. I don't know. all of the power on your gear averages out to your item level, which is how it works in Destiny now. So in Destiny, to do the raid, you need to have 280 or 290.
I think 280 is the like scraping the minimum. You're going to have a rough time, but you could do
290 is probably the recommended, I think, on the board. So all of the gear you get has a defense average and an attack average. So your light level is literally just an average of all your gear. It equates to a gear level like WoW, like Final Fantasy 14, like an MMO. It's still, to somebody who hasn't played MMOs, like they still could probably look at it and go, "What the fuck why do I still have a light level? Like, like what? Yeah. Like what is it technically?" But it's just a metric that averages out the power of your gear to let you know what you can and can't do. So just like WoW and just like Final Fantasy, once you hit max level, that level means nothing anymore, and your light level is still, an item level is still dominant. So when they got rid of the light level, they didn't technically get rid of it. It's still very much the metric in which you do things at endgame. It's just,
but it doesn't feel like it
differently.
Like because the light level was directly tied to your actual level, it felt a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
Now that it's just a stat, it's still technically the same thing, but it's presented in a different way.
Mm-hmm.
And it just feels like, oh, I got to light level 294. Yay. I didn't have to sacrifice anything for it, or it wasn't incredibly convoluted. I just put better gear on.
Yeah. Yeah, you didn't have to find special, because back in vanilla Destiny or 1.0, for people who don't know vanilla terms, I don't even know the origin of the fucking term vanilla for a game. I just picked up on it from playing WoW and stuff. I don't understand vanilla. I don't know what that means.
Because vanilla is the plain ice cream flavor.
Oh, okay. There's nothing added to it. It's just vanilla.
It's just
why isn't it Oh, well, I guess chocolate.
Neutral.
Why is it just chocolate? Why isn't it chocolate Destiny?
Because chocolate is a... when you go to a new pizza place, you get the margarita to see if they can actually make a decent pizza. If you go to a new ice cream place, you get the vanilla to know if they can make a decent ice cream.
That's true.
And then you go and get the fancy stuff. There's no point buying strawberry ice cream from a place that can't make ice cream.
This is true. This explains it.
I mean, you could call it Margarita Destiny if you want.
So in Margarita Destiny, you had to find... you had to find pieces of gear that had light on it, and then
because not everything did.
Yeah, even if it wasn't better than the one you currently had, it might be by upgrading it. So it was just a fucking mess. So they got rid of that and they made it simplified. And by doing that, they made it so that upgrading your gear and your light level is pretty natural by just playing the game now. It isn't very difficult to do. It still requires some grinding.
You don't really need to pay it. You don't need to think, what do I need to do this? It just sort of happens, and then you get to a point where it sort of plateaus, and you're like, okay, I do need to start switching stuff around a little bit. Sorry, if you're close to the 280 and you get 279, and you're like, but this one would just tip me over the edge. I'll switch around, or I'll switch the
or infuse it
particular gear or whatever. Yeah. But until you get to that point, it just happens.
Yeah. So that's a benefit for anyone who's worried about the light grind. Now, one of the big things that Taken King promised, and I feel like it delivered on, but I feel like in terms of it delivering on a grand scale, I still don't think so. It's never been it's been a big problem with Destiny. I think people should have a problem with it, and I think coming from Bungie, I think they should definitely have a problem with it. And it's still the story and its presentation. I mean, as much as it's great. Taken King added cutscenes, and they have when you start Taken King, this is a Taken King story, and you're going to go from beginning to end. You're going to have cutscene, you're going to have a story, whatever.
And the loading screens present more information to you.
Yeah.
In a useful way.
And
it's not just exposition dump.
Yeah, the quest overhaul also. So they put in work to give you context and reasons for the things you're doing. Even on the old quests, they give you more context what you're doing with the quest log and when you're talking to NPCs in the tower and stuff like that. I don't feel like it delivers maybe a Halo quality campaign still. I don't.
Well, the missions are still the mission. They're still the same. Even though they've changed the dressing, it is still the you've got to guard Ghost whilst he transmits something or opens a file. And that Taken King at least had mission variety. I don't
Yeah.
feel like I
Yeah.
was constantly doing the same
Well,
mission
yeah, and
over and over and over again.
That's worth noting. Like the missions themselves,
Which is a big plus for me, by the way.
not discount like taking away like the story presentation. Like the story presentation is still leaves some to be desired. I personally feel, but the missions themselves, which are like the big coat of paint over Destiny's campaign, is the quest system. Everything is a quest now. You don't just like, oh, I got a mission, it's on my directive map, let me just fucking try to find it here. Everything's trackable. You have a quest log like an MMO. You go, you pick your quest, you can read it, you get context, NPCs talk to you. And all the missions that were available in Taken King that I still have to do. I still have some to do, which is really weird. I've been playing it for 2 months, and I still have solo missions to do. And they've been adding new ones.
I think everything that I've got left is strikes and raids, and the Crucible,
which is a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
All add a pretty good amount of variety. I like everything new, all new ground that you step on is really fun. I really enjoy anything involving the Dreadnought. Initially, I did not like the way the Dreadnought looked, but as you poke around it more, I really enjoy it.
I feel like, did you play Halo 3?
Yeah.
It reminds me too much of the Floodship because I mean, I guess it's sort of the same, but I just get lost. I don't understand where I am. Like, unless I'm in the starting area, the Hull Breach or the Mausoleum, I just have no idea where I am or how to get to where I am.
That's been my problem with all patrols, and it's no better with the Dreadnought. I haven't been able to navigate the patrol maps ever.
I vaguely understand the Moon, half of Mars I get. Venus, I know the first like 3 areas. Earth, I can do like the place that you land. Where is it? The Barrens.
Yeah,
I think, and then like 1 to either side, I will understand. Like 1 to the left and 1 to the right, I'll know where I am, and then I get lost. So I really wish that you could choose where on the planet you drop, because then I feel like you'd naturally start to understand better where things are. Whereas if you're constantly being dropped in the same spot and you think, I need to get to the other side of the map, it takes forever.
The Dreadnought, I've gotten better at navigating, though, more so than the other ones, mainly because I think I've been on patrol on the Dreadnought more than the others, mainly because of Court of Orcs and some of the droppable keys and stuff like that take you to chests and all this other stuff. Which is like, I know like the Court of Orcs is kind of like my pillar. Like I know where that is. Oh, and that's over that way. That's over that way. That's over that way. And this is one of my biggest likes for the Taken King, is among other things, like among the missions and I feel like what they did with the Dreadnought's patrol. I really would like them to go back and kind of gloss over Mars, Venus, Moon, Earth, and add stuff like the Court of Orcs and add stuff like the Skyburner Key and the Wormsinger Runes and all that stuff to make you want to go back to those ones as well. Which I would probably take a lot of work, but I think it would be an awesome addition for whatever they do next. Like, go back and revisit those patrols, because I don't have a reason to go patrol the Moon unless I have a bounty or a quest.
Yeah.
Like, and even then, like, I might just continuously getting quests to go patrol the Moon. Like, it would just be bounties at a certain point.
I mean, the only reason I go to Earth is when it says to get Hive Ultras and Mages. That's the only reason I go to Earth now. Or occasionally when it says when it's the 5 heavy kills within 3 seconds or whatever, I'll either go to Mars or Earth. Just because there's a few spots that are very easy to do that.
Yeah. So I would like that. But overall, I feel like everything progression-wise in the Taken King has been a huge improvement. And it's what's made it my main game since September 15th. Like, since September 15th, the only game I've played every day is Destiny. I don't know, a few day breaks here and there, because I feel like they really delivered on stuff to do. Like, opposed to the game when it first came out. Like, when a game first came out, like, what do? Like, okay, you hit level 20, you got to get like your strikes or Crucible. That's it. Like, I mean,
at this point, all I am doing in the game is bounties, and in that then it doesn't tend to be the Crucible ones, because I'm not good enough at Crucible to do half of the bounties that it wants, or it wants it to be in a fire team, and so there is not much left in the game for me to do without doing raids and strikes, like specific things in strikes. I have nothing left to do. So in that way, the game is feeling kind of dead for me at the minute. The Halloween event was nice. It gave me something to do until I got all the masks, and now I've got nothing to do again.
Which is understandable if the raid isn't like on your radar or anything like that. The raid.
Well, this is the thing that we've ultimately discovered between the way that you're playing it and the way that I'm playing it. Aside from a few times here and there with yourself or a couple of people that I have found, my experience of Taken King has been 100% solo. Whereas you, every time that I've seen you on, particularly within the first month or so, you were playing with other people. So a lot of my problems come from the frustration with the way that the game works on a solo level.
Yeah.
Compared to co-op.
And that's where like I think it's like when I say that Taken King changed what was wrong with Destiny in terms of its systems, not what it was. Like Destiny's always kind of been that co-op shooter. Like it's never been solo friendly ever. Especially
I feel like Destiny 1.0 was, I mean, I got through all of the missions in vanilla Destiny solo completely fine. Taken King, there were several that
okay. Yeah.
I had to, like, I got significantly pissed off and had to take a break from, and took several days for me to be able to do. So it's like they've designed it to be co-op, which is fine if you have people to do it co-op with.
Yeah, well, the story missions I did all by myself with Taken King. The story missions I always kind of looked at as a different animal to the stuff I would typically do with people in Destiny.
I mean, the big one that sticks in my mind, it's not because like the story is actually really short, but there's a lot of like mission questy stuff afterwards.
Yeah, those are the
one
things,
that really sticks in my mind is the poison fire floor.
Fear's Embrace. Funnily enough, I just had to do Fear's Embrace again to get Touch of Malice, which is like one of the best guns in the game. After a really long, drawn-out quest line. It's a special version of Fear's Embrace where it summons a special wizard that you have to fight while also fighting the Echo of Orcs. And you definitely need more than one person because that is impossible to solo. And I actually found Fear's Embrace to be impossible to solo, and you did it.
Eventually.
Somehow
I wanted to snap the game in half.
When you told me you beat that quest solo, and like as I'm reading your Skypes and like your complaints about the game, here's the thing is I'm never gonna combat you on your problems with this game, because as much as I love Destiny, as much as this is my favorite experience of the year, and I really like what they've done with it, and I really like the raid. The raid is so super fun. I did normal mode and hard mode. I've done just about everything. Like I've seen just about everything substantial in the game. I still have quests to do and guns to get and lots of loot to get from the raids. I will never ever combat the fact that they still have a super poor implementation in terms of finding groups within the game. Yeah. And it's a big problem, not just for the raids, because even then I don't know how well matchmaking would work with the raid, especially after doing the raid and seeing, like, if you're not guaranteed to have people who are going to listen and have a mic, it's going to be difficult. But I don't see a problem in giving people the option to try. There's definitely a problem in terms of even communicating, like, okay, how hard is this going to be for myself to do, like this quest, Fear's Embrace? Like, yeah, it says hard, but I'm of the recommended light level. I should be able to just do it. But I do think that the game really doesn't cater to solo people. If it did before, it definitely doesn't at all now. A lot of things, Court of Oryx, the Wormsinger keys, all of the patrol stuff on Dreadnought that requires you to kill some type of a world boss to get a key to unlock a chest, that's all well and good. You can do that without a fire team, but it's going to be difficult. The Taken War quests are a real big pain in the ass to complete without a fire team or people you know.
Is that the one where you got to kill the 3 swords or whatever? Yeah, that was a pain in the ass, because some of them I think 1 or 2 of them you could just about solo, and one of them was just impossible to do on your own. And no one was ever. It was in the one area that no one ever goes, because it's in the middle of backwards nowhere, and there was just no one there ever. I had to actually call people in I was like, sorry, can you please help?
Yeah, those could be. I had to do some last night. I never finished my Taken War quest because I didn't feel like doing that, and I wanted to get them out of the way so I can get the Bullion Gemini, and then so I can get the yeah, something else I was trying to get. I don't remember, but so I was doing them last night, and and I'm like, I'm remembering everything you were talking about. I remember because I did the first steps of these with friends, 2 friends who I played most of the game with. And then I remembered your messages on Skype, and I remember you complaining about these quests. And in my head, I'm thinking, they aren't that bad. I did them, but I had 2 people with me the whole time. I'm doing them by myself, and I'm taking or spawning, and there's nobody fucking around. Nobody's doing it. I'm trying to find lieutenants myself. They're spawning in random corners, I guess, because I can't find them. Some of them are invisible minotaurs. It's whatever. Fuck off. I've
gotten to the point where I know where lieutenants could spawn, but they're so far apart, and there's a time limit, obviously, to kill all 3 to spawn the dude in, who will not actually... I thought for a while that he spawned where you killed the last lieutenant. It's not. He just spawns in the area somewhere. So you've then got to find him and hope that you've not wasted too much time wandering around to find the dude, to then try and kill him on your own.
Yeah, in time. And then when the boss spawns, good luck doing it by yourself.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
So many times I got him to an honest to God sliver, and then he'd be like, "Take corruption subsides." And there's a small window after it says that it subsides that you can still do damage, but it would never be quite enough. I'm like, God damn it.
Overall, though, in terms of a bullet point of everything I've liked, because there's a lot to talk about with Taken King. I'm trying to think in my head, what did I like about it? Because we've only really talked about a few things about it.
I don't like the Taken.
I
liked the Taken up to a certain point.
It's
Captains, Vandals, Phalanxes, Scions, they can all piss off.
Yeah, there's some really difficult enemies.
The Goblins are cool, except for when they're making any of the aforementioned immune.
I just find it really satisfying to fight the Taken because of their glowing weak spot and the way they die and their death animation and all that stuff. And I always enjoy when it's the Taken. Some of their attacks are annoying. The Centurions, are they the ones who shoot out the big blind balls?
No, that's the Captains. The Centurions I don't mind too much. The Centurions fire out the tracking rock of death.
That's right.
Which you can shoot and it explodes. They're not too bad.
That's right. Yeah, that's easy. Yeah.
The Captains, particularly there's the one on Venus, the Baroness of Goldoth or whatever. So you've got to kill 3 Taken Captains who would be trying to blind you, and then she'll spawn in, she'll fire blinding things, and when you're fighting the major or ultra or whatever it is of the Taken, they'll spawn in more of the lieutenants that you had to kill to summon them. So you'll have her firing blind balls and 6 captains also all firing blind balls at you. It just gets...
I'm glad...
If you're doing that on your own, it gets impossible. You need someone to at least distract half of them.
I'm glad that name is sticking. I've always just called them blind balls because I don't know what the fuck else they're called, and they blind you, and they're shaped like balls. So I never knew what else to call them. But yeah, I think the way that it's managed to stay in my schedule since it came out is immediately I really liked at level 40. I feel like there's a lot to do once you hit 40 to increase your light level. You have the Court of Orcs, you have the patrols. I already mentioned how much I like what they did with patrol on the Dreadnought. I think there's a lot more interesting things to see in the Dreadnought's patrol. There's the strikes. All the new strikes are really fun. I actually don't hate any of them. They took the criticism of their old strikes to heart. Their old strikes in vanilla were always criticized for all their bosses being just bullet sponges. I forget what the fuck's that big ogre's name. It was like the infamous strike where you could cheese it by the rock. I forget the name of the strike, and I forget the name of the boss. Fogoth.
Is it Fogoth?
Yeah.
I might not have seen him too much then.
I think it's Fogoth. If it isn't Fogoth, if there's a hardcore Destiny fan listening to this point, well, fucking correct me if it's not Fogoth. I think it was Fogoth. And, it takes forever. All you do is stand there behind cover to shoot at the boss. They've taken kind of the mini raid boss approach with a lot of their new strikes in terms of, we're going to make... The boss isn't going to be a pushover. He's not going to have, lesser... they have less health than the Bull Sponge bosses from Vanilla. But they're not going to make the fight feel as boring as sitting behind covering and shooting it, because we're going to throw mechanics at you. We're going to have you run a relic. We're going to have you keep watching
have the floor electrocute
for
you
ads,
every now and again.
electrocute you. Yeah, different burners and mechanics and things to watch out for. And it keeps you on your toes, and it makes fighting the boss in between those phases kind of like another phase, instead of just, this is just the boss phase, let's just shoot the boss. Like, the new strikes have all... I really wish they would go back and... Overhauling old strikes would be a big undertaking, because a lot of the old ones need actual work and not just, let's put a fresh coat of paint over it.
I mean, did you hear how much of a pain in the ass it is to make an alteration to a map?
Yeah.
Because their engine is horrific.
Hearing a lot about this game and how much of a pain in the ass it is to change shit to with that article and everything, it's kind of like this. I bet you they're so excited to be working on Destiny 2 at this point and have a fresh slate with that. And
I hope that they get to. I hope that they start over from scratch. It's a pain in the ass for them to create a new engine again.
I think if not, it'll be a heavily modified version of whatever the hell they're using now. And they probably
if you don't know what we're talking about, the engine that they use at the moment currently involves, like, if you want to make an alteration in a map, like move something a couple of inches over or whatever because it doesn't quite feel right or whatever. So the night before, when you leave for work, you'll start booting up the map to load overnight because it takes that long, and you hope to God that when you come in the next day, it's not failed, because then you've just got to start it over again. You make your alteration, and then so it would be just a click and a drag to move it, and then you've got to render the map again, which takes as long as it did to import the map. So moving something by a couple of feet takes, I guess you'd say, around 16 hours for every change. So that's not a good system. I don't know why they made an engine like that.
There's a lot going on behind the scenes with this game. They probably led up to whatever the fuck they were left with when the game first came out. Thankfully, even the public perception's been good with them lately. Even with the microtransactions, they quelled that storm pretty well. And maintained it. I was getting kind of bummed out when I was hearing that, like rumors of stuff, but they were like, those items are data mined from old shit. They were never meant to be microtransactions. They were supposed to be bought from the speaker with strange coins, whatever.
I like that I get strange coins now. I finally can buy stuff from Xur.
Yeah.
In the entire first year, I never accrued enough strange coins to buy anything other than motes of light, because I accidentally spent my strange coins.
And this is that's one of the things I like the most about it, is it's weird to get into every little thing, but I've felt like there's a lot of variety in terms of what to do in the Taken King. Once you get to the point of raiding, like for you right now, you're at the point where your light level is for raiding. You're not really going to increase your light level unless you raid, for the most part, which is just kind of the nature of it. That's fine. You played it a lot, and you've seen the game. The raid isn't going to be for everybody anyway. It is.
I've watched people do it. It looks like fun if you've got the right group of people.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I do not have enough friends. Like, I could play it with strangers on voice chat, but it wouldn't be quite... Like, the fun looked like it came from the camaraderie, which you're just not going to quite get with randoms, which I get, but...
That's, surprisingly... most of my raid groups have been 4 or 5 out of the 6 people have been people I know. And that might be why even like Taken King has been one of my favorite experiences, is because these 4 or 5 guys are mostly old friends I used to play WoW with like 8 years ago. Some of them I haven't talked to since then, and like everyone's kind of back here playing this, so like it's kind of raiding in the Taken King has kind of taken the place of me raiding in WoW with them. So like it's been really fun. And the raid is really fun for anybody interested in what the fuck Bungie's doing with MMO raids in an FPS. All the boss mechanics are super fun. The jumping puzzles are super fun. There's not a moment in King's Fall that I really think is bad. There's no cheese method. There's nothing crippling it.
I feel like the ship jumping is a little bit...
I love it.
I feel like there's like it's a couple of steps too long.
I love it. Yeah, it could be a little shorter. Once you know the trajectory of the ships, though, it's kind of... I could do it pretty...
Yeah.
It used to take me a while. Like, when first I did that, the jumping puzzles in the raid... for anyone who isn't aware, I mean, they're just little, like, platforming sections where there's no killing. It's just your Mario. And I always loved the addition of jumping puzzles and MMOs when I was introduced to them with Guild Wars 2. And I loved them. I was so in love with doing those in Guild Wars 2, and the Halloween event in Guild Wars 2 was so fun. And in the raid, I mean, there was only a raid I did in comparison was Vault of Glass, and there was a jumping puzzle in that, but it was not really the same as the ships or the
Pendulums.
The pendulums and like the pushing platforms. I don't know how to describe it. When you're going towards this exotic chest, there's these giant like spikes that
is that the
flying
ledges?
out of the wall. Yeah, the ledges part.
Yeah.
Those are always huge comic relief moments in the raid because somebody's always going to fuck up in some stupid way, and someone's always going to be the last one to make it, and it's always fun. After like even the 7th time doing it, it's still fun. I enjoy those. The ship part I could agree, and in hard mode there's no checkpoint in the ship part, so if you die you start at the beginning no matter what. So you have to know where
I've just
the shit
remembered the
is.
worst thing about the Taken King. Do you know what the worst thing about Taken King is, Bill?
I'm not sure.
The goddamned Hammer of Soul.
Fucking
is
Sunbreaker. Yeah,
Titans.
That's the one thing. I mean, we've been talking so much about the content overgloss and everything they've added on top of the game to make the grind lesser. Before we get into that, I do want to say I really like how a lot of the big named exotics are part of quest lines and not just through RNG. Like all of the big notable ones are most of them, honestly, except for the year 2 versions of year 1 exotics. A lot of the new big exotics are through methods that don't involve you handing in an engram, except for maybe the Supercell and with Telesto and stuff like that. Like Black Spindle was an awesome.
My line from an exotic engram.
Which one?
The Jade Rabbit.
Oh yeah, that one is. There's like I think half of them aren't. But I like because in year 1, like your best bets of getting exotics were like, well, fucking here we go, randomly from a Nightfall, from a raid, whatever. This you get Touch of Malice, Black Spindle, Bullion Gemini.
Is Sleeper Stimulant a quest one or not?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
No Time to Explain. A whole the sword.
There's a hand cannon one. I got a hand cannon one from a quest line, I think.
I got an exotic hand cannon from the Gunsmith quest called Ace of Spades. There's just so many different ways to get exotics now, and it's nice because I have more exotics than I ever had in my life playing Vanilla Destiny.
Well, I didn't get a single one, so I popped that trophy.
I had maybe one when I went into year 2.
I think I've now got 4 because I keep dismantling them. I've got my Jade Rabbit, a glove, my fancy sword, and a rocket launcher I just got.
Nice. Truth?
I think so, yeah.
So that's one thing I wanted to mention before we get into the subclasses and whatever else to finish it off.
And then let Evie stop eating.
It's a long snack.
I'm still snacking.
I'm snacking while talking.
Yeah, they added 3 new subclasses into the mix. All 3 of which people have unanimously liked amongst their respective mains.
Amongst people that use them.
Yeah. The most notable one is the Titans Sunbreaker subclass, which includes the Super Hammer of Soul, which is just reckless.
Too much. It needs.
It's just fucking
it
reckless.
needs the biggest goddamn nerve.
It
is almost as bad as the bucket in Splatoon.
Mm-hmm. No. Yeah. Well,
which every time there's an update for Splatoon, I read the patch notes to see whether they've done anything to the bucket. They keep buffing the bucket.
They keep buffing it.
They keep buffing it. Admittedly, only like specific situations, but they never nerf it. It's always getting like slight increase to armor damage or something in like boss situations or whatever. Like, guys, please nerf it.
Never gonna happen, man.
I really like the way that you unlocked the new subclass for the Warlock. At least I don't know what it was like. For
yeah, I did the Hunter quest and the Titan quest to unlock them, and they're pretty cool.
Whilst I remember, my brother asked me whether he should buy Taken King, and I said, if you have someone to play through, because the story still doesn't make much sense if you don't play the first game and the DLCs. Like, a lot of stuff happens that is still making reference to that. If you don't have someone to play through that, it's going to be just as painful, I feel, to get through those repetitive missions in year one. It's made a little bit better by improved bounty tracking and quests and things and quest tracking, but the missions are still the same. You're still going to have to get through that slog. But then the moment that you hit House of Wolves, really,
I would even say skip that shit.
Would you?
I did.
I mean, you can do that once with your 25 boost. You still
if you're playing it from the beginning, yeah.
He's asking whether he should get it from scratch. I'm like, well, if I'm around to play with you, yeah. But you're still gonna, if you didn't enjoy it the first time round, know that it gets better, but you still have to get through all of the story crap missions and things.
Yeah.
To get there. Back to the Hammer of Soul.
Yeah,
I felt
it's fun.
So goddamn powerful being Emperor Palpatine. The moment that I could start shooting lightning out of my hands, and I loved it. And then I go to Crucible, and I'm just the weakest little babby.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
because nothing can harm a dude throwing hammers at you.
The best counter for the Hammer of Soul is Gunslinger kills it in one shot.
I say the best counter to Hammer of Soul is to kill yourself. Don't let him have the.
So I've actually been rolling Gunslinger instead lately.
What is that?
Stalker.
Oh, that's a hunter.
Yeah. And I just enjoy it more. I've been enjoying it. I enjoy the Night Stalker. The new one for Hunter, Night Stalker, has a bow, and it's really good for doing strikes and any kind of PvE type stuff. That's
the one that locks people in place, right?
Yeah, and it tethers them all and links them all up through a thread, and there's perks that everybody who's tethered by that gets hit. That when they get hit, all of the damage is shared across them all, and it doesn't split. It gives them all the raw damage. So when you have a large pack of ads or something, you drop that in there and you throw in a grenade and whatever else, everything just explodes, and it's so fucking satisfying. I still get overjoyed when I'm able to do that.
Here's a question I have.
Yeah.
Warlock only has 2 subclasses in my mind because Sunsinger or whatever it's called is atrocious. I hate it. Anytime there is a bounty that requires me to use it, I'm disappointed. Are all 3 of the Hunter and Titan subclasses decent, or is there a duff one in every class?
There's really no bad one in Hunter. People don't use Arcblade as much as they used to, but it's still fun to use. Titan Striker, nobody uses that piece of shit. Just period. People use either Sunbreaker or Defender because Defender's Bubble Shield can buff you with Weapons of Light, which gives you a huge damage buff in the raid and anywhere really, strikes, whatever. Anything.
So which is the one that's the Havoc Fist or Fist of Havoc or whatever?
Striker.
I still get killed by that a lot.
I mean, people probably use it in PvP.
I guess
it's more useful than
the
bubble, typically. But as far as Sunsinger goes for Warlocks, it is quite useful in certain aspects of the raid and certain aspects of certain Nightfalls.
I guess the self-revive is probably the only useful thing.
And especially in the raid, if you're a Warlock and you go down, in the hard mode raid, rather, because there's no reviving other teammates in the hard mode raid. If you die, you're dead. Unless you could self-revive, which can be really helpful in certain, like if you have the boss almost dead and you go down and you need that extra bit of damage, you can self-revive and stuff like that. There's uses for it, but typically a lot of people have been running with the electricity. What the fuck's it called? Stormcaller?
Stormtrance or something. Stormcaller,
something like that. And to take down ads, because it's a really good super for clearing out packs of enemies.
Yeah.
But yeah. I'm not too sure what else I can really say about it, aside from that if you haven't owned Destiny before and you're interested in playing it, and you maybe have some friends who are interested too, and you're looking for a good shooter to play with people, and even if you don't have friends, if you want to be like, because one thing I think, I don't think Bungie did it on purpose, because I'm not gonna give them too much credit for a lot of the shit that they pull with year one. But what ended up happening as a result of there being no matchmaking in certain areas, and what happened as a result of there really being no group making tools whatsoever in the game is, and if they did do it on purpose, well, good on you. They could probably look at me and tell me they did it, but I won't believe them. Is that it created a community that requires you to be a part of it, opposed to like, because when I look at other games like this, like Diablo or like WoW, a lot of WoW's big pieces of content at end game have matchmaking now, and they didn't back in the day. And one of the things people miss a lot from vanilla WoW is the necessity to find people yourself. Was a big part of WoW back in the day. It's an old, outdated mechanic, like in terms of being for usability purposes. Like the idea of trying to find in WoW's days it was 40 people and not 6. So I mean it was still you had to make a guild for that. You couldn't just go and find a pickup group for a 40-man raid. But people miss the idea of like being a part of a community, which doesn't exist in WoW. I mean, you can go do the LFRs and looking for raids and the matchmaking stuff, and nobody talks to each other, nobody gives a shit. You enter it, you do your shit, you do it badly if you want. There's 25 people in there, who gives a fuck? Nobody talks, nobody cares, and you can certainly still find that in WoW with the harder raids. But what I like about what happened with Destiny, and like I said, I highlighted that was on purpose because there are some oversights in there, but the necessity that exists, like I did the Touch of Malice quest line this week, which required me to find people to help me with the final quest, the strike before it, and getting my last calcified fragment. And none of my friends were on, so I had to go and I used Destiny LFG. And the communities that rose up around the game, in terms of the Fireteam subreddit and DestinyLFG.net, like I met a dude. I played Destiny 4 hours with a dude from Austria 2 days ago, and I'll probably play with him again. He's on my friends list. I never would have
Why didn't you invite me?
This man out. I don't think you were awake.
Yeah, that's probably true.
Bill goes to the Austrian guy.
And like I never would have met this guy or talked to him without that. And that's the same thing that used to happen to me with World of Warcraft back in the day. Like I made legitimate friends in WoW back in the day. Every year since maybe Mists of Pandaria of me playing World of Warcraft, I've never met a new friend in that game since. And it's the conversation surrounding the Destiny community when you go to the Reddit or you go to the NeoGAF thread or you go to the LFG or you go to anywhere, or the PS4 community, it doesn't just involve what is typically discussed in an MMO subreddit, like, oh, best stuff to use, this or that, or, whoa, Blizzard sucks, this dungeon's cool. It involves a lot of community forming and group forming and stuff like that, and it's fun in a way. It's fun to play with Bungie's faults in this situation, because I haven't been this outgoing in terms of making friends in a game, or I don't want to call them friends. I'm not really friends with these people, but like finding companions to do things with since old days of WoW. It might be why I'm sticking around so much, is because I decided to just say fuck it and just play with randoms when I need to, and it's been pretty positive experience. Although I've been the dickhead 2 days ago. I needed a calcified fragment from the raid, and I forgot to grab, and I wanted to get this Touch of Malice quest line done, and this calcified fragment happened to be in the beginning of the raid, so I joined a raid, grabbed the fragment, and left. Kind of a dick move, but I didn't feel like doing the raid with those people. They seemed nice, but I wanted to get my fragment. But
yeah. I can't bring myself to do that. My only experience of that is when we were doing the Void Sword, where you were like, "Oh yeah, I'm going to ask someone if they want to." Oh, look, someone actually wants to do it.
Yeah, that's the other thing. That
is the only thing that I've used it for. And whilst I feel like that went well, if you weren't there and I was doing it purely with, I guess, 2 other randoms in that situation, or 5 other randoms in a strike situation, I wouldn't be able to cope.
I can understand that.
I don't think I'm ever going to get a raid done, which sucks, but it means that Bungie's got to make more stuff for me to do.
I mean, if you ever want to do it, now that the hard mode and the normal mode exist, I could do both of them on the same character, and I can get stuff for both. Especially now that everybody is higher level. There exists a subreddit called Destiny Sherpa. I don't know why it's called Sherpa. No idea. But it exists.
Because he's probably leading you through the raid.
Is that what a Sherpa is?
Well, the Sherpas are the ones who lead you up Mount Everest, aren't they?
Oh, that makes sense. Never knew what the word Sherpa meant. Thank you, Kinross. Destiny. No, that's good. No, I'm not saying that in a sarcastic way. I'm glad I know it's Sherpa man. I thought it was some stupid word made up for Destiny. Where I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be honest with you. It's just,
I didn't realize it's been 40 minutes.
well, has this been 40 minutes on Taken King so far?
Evie's been half live tweeting us playing. It's like recording Permadeath podcast right now. Kinross and Bill have been talking about Destiny for like 20 minutes, and I'm just sat here snacking. It's been like 40 minutes now. OMG.
Yeah, we should probably shut up about Destiny. But yeah, there exists a subreddit Sherpa where people put together groups to help people out who haven't been in it before, and I think if I teamed up with one of them and like took you and a bunch of other people who've never done it before through, and like didn't just like, okay, here's where you're gonna stand and listen to me. Like,
I guess that's what my issue is like those 5 people may well have already done it before, and I'll be the guy who's just completely clueless.
Yeah, that's where the Sherpa subreddit comes in handy. And like the Destiny community, I don't know if it gets enough credit for just how many good people are in it. Because I know the game gets shit on a lot, but I don't know how the community is perceived. There's lots of toxic people. There's gonna be in any big game. But there's a lot of really good people that you meet randomly.
I didn't know there was a community.
It exists. And that's what I think. They can say that they can take credit for it all they want, but the community that exists on Bungie.net and Reddit is huge, and just it's an outside of the game community that I haven't seen for a game in a while. And it's because Bungie didn't really include it in the game that it exists through such a necessity, and that it formed one of the best things about it. But so I don't know. Yeah, buy it if you haven't played it. If you want a game to play with people, it's good. A lot of value in it, a lot of content in it now, which is I couldn't say a year ago. Yeah, one of my favorite experiences of the year. Had a lot of fun so far.
So what else have you been playing, Evie? I don't know if she's here right now. She might not be here.
Oh my god.
Oh, there you are. You're right there.
Yeah, I've just been reading fan theories about Life is Strange while you've been doing your thing.
Fair enough. I mean, I thought maybe I should every now and again be like, "You're right, Abby," but I figured that you'd probably just do something else for a bit.
Yeah, that's pretty much.
Anything interesting on the fan theory front? Have they explained explained why the storm didn't go away?
No.
No. Did they explain why any of it mattered?
No.
Okay. Get on it, fans.
Are we doing questions in this episode or no?
I mean, we did say it's going to be a long one, but we also said we're not going to have one for a while. So I feel like we should, and I can just put an annotation at the start saying when the questions start, so that people can listen to the questions and then go back if they want to.
Okay. Maybe try to keep the answers not super detailed. I mean, I don't mean that as in don't give them thought.
Goodness, Bill, how rude.
But we'll just not have a situation where we ask what our favourite genre of music is and then suddenly start talking about it for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Is that what happened?
I don't think it was 20 minutes, but Bill was like, oh, what an easy question. 10 minutes later, what a brilliant question. We do actually have a question by email as well.
Oh, what?
That I have been saving since the 5th of October.
We'll do that one
Oh,
first.
that's a month old.
Yep, it is. So I have.
Oh, this is a surprise question. I usually see all the questions beforehand and get time to think about them a bit.
Who's going to read the questions?
Well, are you reading the email question?
Oh, I can read all of them if you want. I don't know. That's what matters. All right. Pat asks, favorite games you used to emulate but own legit now?
None of them.
Because you don't. Any game you've emulated, you've never bought, or you've never emulated.
I've emulated, but I really only emulated for like 5 minutes.
Okay.
Like Mega Man 2.
I used to emulate N64 games before the Virtual Console was really a thing. Mm-hmm. Especially when the Wii U didn't have any N64 games, and I was like, man, I really want to play Majora's Mask pretty bad right now. So I emulated that, but now I own the 3D version, so I emulated Pokemon White when that wasn't available in Europe, so it came with an English patch that only translated some stuff, so played it through until you got to the Ferris wheel, and I had no idea what was going on, and then you got on the Ferris wheel with N,
Yep.
and it said some Japanese stuff, and then I pressed the next text box, and it said "King of Team Plasma." So I stopped playing
That's
it.
a fair way in that you managed to get.
Yeah, because I really wanted to play Pokemon Black and White.
Alright.
Because I've been watching the anime and stuff. So,
Mhm.
and that's pretty much it in terms of emulating. Like I'm not too big into it.
I briefly emulated Majora's Mask, which I do now own. None of these count as favorites, really. Super Mario 64, I did obviously so I could let's play it because I didn't have a
Yeah, I was gonna say when we did the coin collecting things, I emulated
Yeah.
Mario 64 then.
But
because
you
I
already
had no
owned
way
it.
to record it, but I own that game like
Yeah.
5 times now. So
I don't own it on N64. I picked it up on the Wii U. And Pokemon Silver. I didn't know it was emulating at the time. I will say, my dad just said, "You like Pokemon? Here you go. It's a new Pokemon." I'm like, cool. And I think I played through all of Pokemon Silver and then ended up getting Crystal for the Game Boy Color. So does that count? If not, I bought Soul Silver. Heart
I'm
Gold
tempted.
even.
If I upgrade my PC, I'm tempted to emulate Xenoblade Chronicles for the Wii because you can install like HD texture packs that make the game look awesome.
I hear
I'm
that that's ended up fairly stable now, but I'm not convinced.
I imagine there are points where you will get slowed down regardless of how good your computer is because
Yeah.
there are points where there's like 20 mechon attacking you at once. So
I wouldn't
do
class
that.
any of them as favorites though.
Uh,
Everyone knows how I feel about Super Mario 64. I love
you're
it.
wrong, but
I love it. It's a meta. Just not of my time.
see, it was of my time, and that's.
I mean, I suppose it technically was of my time, but I didn't play it then. Anyway, Monsieur Daniel Hong returns to form with 2 questions. The first of which is, if you could meet and have a conversation with anybody in the gaming industry, who would it be?
Todd Howard.
I knew that.
Yeah.
Or, I don't know if I could pick between them. Shigeru Miyamoto. One of the two.
I would have probably said Miyamoto or I don't know.
Or if I could, like, completely destroy time, Satoru Iwata.
Well,
He'd be my first
yes.
choice, but
If anyone, Iwata would have been amazing. But
if I
I'd
could
stick
have
to the
time travel
realms of
powers.
potential plausibility that I could someday end up randomly talking to Miyamoto or Aonuma.
Aonuma would be cool. I mean, we've been in the same room as Aonuma. Aonuma.
Yeah.
Which was
So
cool.
you'd
I was like, oh my god.
We've
oh
been
my
playing
god.
Go-Go Nihon. I'm bringing that in now. Game we played. I'm replaying the 2015 version of Go-Go Nihon with Ebby. Plug. 3.5 hours into this podcast. Plug.
We did this wrong.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
I
There's
feel
got to be
like
someone.
that Bill would want to talk to Bill Trinan.
What's it like having the same name as me?
Probably.
Is that what Bill would say to Bill, or what Bill would say to Bill?
Probably just
Bill
Jeffrey.
would say to Bill.
Probably Jeffrey Kaplan. He works at Blizzard. He was one of the lead designers on WoW up until was it right before or after Wrath of the Lich King he left and started working on whatever their next thing was, which ended up becoming Overwatch.
Was Lich King when it started, like after Lich King's thing started to go down?
Lich King was
like,
the game in its
user base
prime.
wise.
Cataclysm is when it's a pretty apt
I thought
name.
Cataclysm was its highest point. Everybody was excited about Cataclysm. I was excited about Cataclysm. I didn't even play one.
Everyone was excited about it, and then everyone just kind of shit on it as it was out for a little while. I don't really remember. I didn't play the end game as often in Cataclysm as I did other stuff. I personally didn't really care for a lot of the stuff in Lich King. A lot of people were really into it. I thought Northrend was garbage. People get on my shit about that. I really hated leveling up through Northrend. It just ruined. I just didn't care. I didn't really have as much investment in Arthas as a lot of other people did.
You know what pissed me off about WoW? Is that everyone who had played WoW for a while at that point was talking about this like Battle for Undercity event thing. And I was like, man, that sounds like so much fun. Too bad I'll never get to play it.
Yeah.
What was that?
I don't know. It was like one of the end events of one of the expansion packs before I started playing.
Okay. Yeah, that's...
Where you were in like the Horde's main town, I guess.
Yeah, that's one of the things with MMOs and stuff like that. Even Guild Wars 2 had a lot of temporary events. It's like all this cool shit that just goes away then, and you don't ever get to see it again. All that time spent making the content. And then...
Token Rambo, the like online browser game that I've been playing, is so bad for that because there's an event out right now, which is where you have to collect 40,000 beads to get one of the new swords. And I took a couple of days off to edit some videos, and I'm like, there's no way I'm going to get 40,000 beads before the event ends, so there's no point in playing it now.
Yeah.
It sucks. But that's
That's an answer to a question we weren't even asked.
Yep.
Makes sense in context, though.
So you'd meet the Blizzard dude?
Yeah, I like to talk to him because he is. And ask him like, "Yo, could you please go back and work on WoW?"
I don't know. I think that after the advert that will be Warcraft movie,
I'm excited for that.
After that, I think that WoW is probably on the way out.
Nah, I don't think that.
We'll see how many people the movie brings in.
I mean, I don't think the movie will necessarily bring people to the game. I think the next expansion pack.
I think that the movie will bring, well, not necessarily bring in new people, but bring people back as they feel like. I mean, this is how it felt to play WoW.
Warcraft type in general, yeah. I mean, then they have the new expansion they announced, Legion, which looks pretty good. That'll probably bring in people around the time that launches. I mean, they announced they're not going to be announcing their subscriber numbers anymore, and they're at one of the lower points they've been at in a while. But it's funny. It's funny to look at WoW's like decline in terms of it being the mega star that it was. But then you figure
it's like the MMO.
And then you figure you look at the climate now, and like back then, like there weren't all these MOBAs that captured like millions of concurrent players a day. There weren't as many good options for MMOs as there are now. Guild Wars 2, Final Fantasy 14, ESO, Destiny's around. Diablo 3 is cannibalizing their own players, and Overwatch and Counter-Strike and all these other games that have suddenly bursted out with millions of concurrent players. I mean, like back from like 2006 to like whenever WoW started declining, like as far as online games on the PC goes, like MOBAs weren't big. MMOs that were coming out were labeled as WoW killers, and they all sucked, like Warhammer and Age of Conan and all these other shit that was coming out. So like WoW had its time to dominate. Like games are going to decline, and like I think WoW still has a good amount of time left. It's still, even like, oh man, WoW's dying. It still has the most players out of any MMO in the market. Like, as far as a pay-to-play one goes, it still has like 5 times more than Final Fantasy 14, which, I mean, everybody who says that game's so successful, and it has 5 million subscribers. No, it doesn't. It has around 1. It has 5 million registered users, but they aren't subscribers. They've released that in their financial notes. Nobody reads those, though. I'm a WoW fanboy at heart, so I'm going to defend it. But I always like it. I like Final Fantasy 14, but I always like it when people kind of like shove that game in WoW's face. Like, look what it's fucking doing. But it's pretty boring at level 60, and it doesn't have as many subscribers, no matter what you say. Still. But I think it's on its way out as being the dominant MMO in time. But I think it's only a matter of time before that game goes free to play at the end of its life, and then it's going to surge again because it's World of Warcraft and it has a pedigree that is unmatched in the MMO scene. Sorry about my WoW rant.
It's my own fault. It's my own fault. I will take the blame for it.
Next question.
Also from... No, that's not also from Daniel Hong. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was gonna say
I
didn't see 2 questions.
So similar.
Are you asking about Lou? You look at Lou's question.
Lou, I'm very sorry. Your picture looked a lot like Daniel Hong's. In my tired eyes.
Yeah.
Lou asks, not Daniel Hong.
Lou,
thank you, Daniel, for submitting a question.
Lou, you look like an anime girl.
Before we move on, Daniel, thank you for backing me on Patreon. I haven't said thank you to you yet, so I'm saying thank you to you in Permadeath.
That's celebration.
Because I thought Bill would do something crazy, and I wasn't disappointed.
So Lou asks, what game that hasn't been released in the West would you most like to see localized?
Valkyria Chronicles 3.
Every Otome game that I want to play.
Rambo.
I'm fine with Token Rambo because I can.
What if you could play Token Rambo on your phone?
That'd just be dangerous. I don't think I want that.
3DS Token Rambo.
No, that wouldn't work.
It could.
Oh, but we wouldn't have the PvP, and it works as a browser game. It doesn't really work as a fully fledged game, unless it was an Otome game.
Gotta have the anime first. I don't really know of any. Like I'm very much only aware of games that are out. Wait. Oh wait, no, it is getting a release. I was gonna say Pokken. Also, Story of Seasons, which wasn't. Was it Japanese? I guess it is. But that came to the West in the form of America, and we're getting. Eventually, it's coming. I'm so pleased.
Might see it one day. Right, mine would go in stages. Mine would be they would have to first port a bunch of the games that I want to PC, and then they'd have to release them in the West. Because all of the Amnesia games that I want to play are on the PSP and PS Vita, so that needs to be on a PC first.
Or PS3.
Or PS3. Something, just so I can play them, because I want to play them so bad.
Is that Arslan game getting a localization? Oh, okay. I didn't know if it was.
You better believe it.
Even if it wasn't, I'd just buy it in Japanese. I don't need to understand the story of that. It's a Warriors game.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't think there is anything really.
Dragon's Dogma Online. That's mine.
Can you just use your choice to make Kamigami no Asobi happen?
Yeah, I would if the anime was better. As someone who is very into mythology, that anime annoyed me.
Maybe the game's better. You don't know.
Maybe it is, but similarly, if I gather correctly, if I'd watched Amnesia the anime, I wouldn't want them to localize the games. So
yeah, when they announced that they were right, the Amnesia anime is awful. When they announced that they were localizing Amnesia anime, I was like, I was like, oh no, I'm gonna buy it just to play it and sort of have a laugh at it because it's really bad. I've played 3.5 routes out of the 5. And they're so good. I've had so much fun playing that game because it's like a proper mystery romance game.
I'll tell you what I want localized. Diabolic Lovers.
No! Because that's one of the ones that's most likely to happen because fucking Diabolic Lovers is ridiculously popular for no reason.
And it is probably going to be like Amnesia and it'll be amazing.
I don't think I'd play Diabolic Lovers, to be honest.
I would buy it for you.
Play it, you must!
You'll be compelled by virtue of it being a gift.
I know, I'll feel bad, so I'll be like, oh god, guess I'll record it. Yeah, mine are all like visual novels and stuff. Like I just want, cause I'm in such a visual novel mood, but there aren't many that are actually from Japan that I want to play. Like Clanad's getting a release eventually, one day.
I mean, I'll admit I feel the same, but I don't have the patience for super long routes. So basically, Go-Go Nihon and Hatoful Boyfriend are about as much as I can bear at the minute. I want to get back into Steins Gate, but I know that it's big. It's the size that puts me off.
I'm happy with the route being like 6 hours long. If it's any longer than that, I get a bit like, if I fuck up now, I've got a lot of stuff to do.
Yeah. It also depends on, because I'm still not used to regularly saving. So if it's like in Dandelion's instance or Hatoful Boyfriend where there is the bit that is always the same, I will always mistime my save, so it's after the point where I could just reload from that point and start a new route. I've always ended up on a route and I'm like, oh god damn it. But
yeah. What I want is basically, if you're into Otome games, you need to go and buy Amnesia, because then they'll be like, oh, people in the West want to play these games, we'll do more of them.
Everyone who's attached to this bizarre Jelly 5 person seems to be buying this game.
You know what? Next time they release a game, I'm going to ask for a review copy. I'm going to do it. I'm like, please. Because some guy with like 900 subscribers got a review copy of Amnesia. And I was like, what? Does that mean I could have got a review copy of Amnesia? Are you kidding me?
Well, now you'll be able to say, look, I played your game. Here's what I would have said about it before. Give me a new one.
Yeah, just fucking localize things. I know that's a proper boring answer as well, but it's what I want. It's what I want.
It's also the hardest to localize because it's all text.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
Nice.
Andy asks, is it true there's a place in a man's head that if you shoot it, it'll explode?
I cannot confirm that because I do not have the bloody mess perk.
It's not hip hop. It's electro.
What?
It's from Shaun of the Dead.
I don't remember much of Shaun of the Dead, unfortunately, because that is a reference to Hot Fuzz. And finally, the secret question from l'email. Which fictional universe appeals to you? This is from John W. Which fictional universe appeals to you most? And for bonus points, nothing Nintendo related. Because,
Damn it!
I'll admit, John W. is a friend of mine, and he found out about the podcast, and I said, I am concerned that we end up being a bit Nintendo heavy. He's not much into Nintendo, and I asked him if it's too much. And this is his response. So I guess there is occasionally a lot of Nintendo. That is why there is an extra challenge. But it's what we play. It's what we have fun with. So
yeah, you guys are the Nintendo folks. More so than me.
Too, but
I mean, not as much as you guys though.
True, I'm diversifying. Ebby's diversifying, but they're still.
I don't have a problem with that. But you guys are more into the
That's what you do.
Nintendo stuff.
I mean, I'm the only one who could talk about Xbox One stuff. There's just nothing I want to talk about for it. So,
Mass
I mean, you could give a Nintendo one. You just not get the bonus points that we apparently keep track of now.
Was Pokemon, obviously.
Which one?
White version? I don't know.
Because they all seem to be like the red and blue. You just get Kanto. But if you go,
if we go like later on,
yeah.
I see what you mean.
But if you're in like
N
X and Y,
White,
then
though. N is in Pokemon White though.
True.
So that's why I would pick Pokemon White or Black, whichever you prefer. But I'm gonna try and pick a different game. So
okay, so we'll give Abby a half hour. Let's talk about Destiny some more. I don't know. So you choose Mass Effect.
Yeah, I choose Mass Effect, and I would, potentially choose Destiny only because I like things that take place in our own solar system. Mass Effect.
If you were in the Destiny fictional universe, you'd know what the hell was going on.
Yeah.
Speaking of, I read the story of Oryx. That is a really interesting story in the Grimoire cards.
All the lore in Destiny is phenomenal. It's
oh
just,
my god.
They need to put Grimoire Terminal in the game. Like it needs to happen. Needs to happen. Like it needs to. That should be priority number 1 going forward. Period. To get people interested in. I mean, I guess that's not the only thing. Like that's not the driving force of the game. But come on, man, you read all that shit, and the only way to see it.
Yeah. For me, I would.
Ooh, and World of Warcraft 2. I love Azeroth. Sorry.
World of Warcraft 2 or World of Warcraft 3?
TOO. World of Warcraft 2.
Okay.
In addition.
As well.
World of Warcraft as well.
I don't know. All of the universes have something fundamentally wrong with them. Because the problem with this question is I don't figure if I'm in this universe I am the hero of the universe. I am me in the universe. So if I was to choose something like Halo or Mass Effect, it'd be like I'm dead.
We're all fucked.
So I'm trying to think of a game where I could do well. I mean, aside from the dragons, I could probably do well in Skyrim, but
vampires, Draugr, wolves.
If I stay in my village, I'm fine.
The thing is, it's established in Skyrim that people don't live very long in Skyrim because of all the monsters. Because when you marry someone, basically in that game, when you marry someone, they basically explain we don't usually do the dating thing. We just see someone we like and get married because we don't live very long. So
well, damn.
Oh, you're dead.
Oh, God damn it.
I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna say this answer.
All right.
Fallout. I'd be dead, or I'd be stuck in a vault that was all fucked up or something. But Fallout. Scavenging's cool. I like it.
There you go. Not wrong with that. You pick Drive Club and be a guy on the sidelines. You won't die there, Kinross.
Sorry, what was that?
You
I
could
was
pick
thinking.
drive. You could pick Drive Club and be a guy on the sidelines.
I'm pretty sure I almost killed one of those guys. Um, I can't think of a non-Nintendo answer. I'm gonna have to choose some form of Zelda.
Would you belong?
No, I would not belong. Just because I feel like that series. I mean, it could be outside of a game.
It depends if you lived in the era after Ocarina of Time, where the hero vanished and Ganon
Everything goes to crap.
Ganon
like, get
somehow
flooded.
flooded the world.
Well, Ganon didn't. The goddesses did because the people asked for it. Because I feel like the lore...
I'm forgetting my Wind Waker lore.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I feel like the lore in the Zelda universe is probably the most interesting to me. Like, I would like to be a scholar in that sort of environment. So I'm just gonna go with that. Generic Zelda. I'll be in Zelda U. I've got a cameo. Look for the bearded guy.
Alternative answer: Animal Crossing. I don't even care about bonus points.
You ain't dying there. That's for damn sure.
No, I'll just get to live my life and pay my mortgage by digging things up out of the ground.
And all your friends leave when you sleep for too long. So, oh, what a refreshing 6-month nap. Oh, all my friends are gone. Or Firefly.
In the Animal Crossing universe, I can have a very big house and not work very hard for it. So.
I don't know. Digging all day is quite hard.
Oh, not in Animal Crossing though.
That's true.
Even if I didn't want to dig, I could just pick fruit off of trees and then go and visit Bill's town and sell it there and make mad profit.
Yeah, come on over.
Or just bring a single fruit back from Bill's town and start your new fruit empire.
Yeah, shove it in the dirt and you grow a tree.
If you sell perfect fruit in a different town, you could easily pay for your mortgage.
But then you get more mortgage.
Yeah, but you could easily just.
You're making me want to play Animal Crossing, which is stupid because I play it for like a month and then I'm done. Every time I'm like, I want to play.
I just remembered a game that I bought.
Oh.
I bought Happy Home Designer.
Oh yeah. I haven't played much of that.
I finished it.
I'm saving it for the plane.
I finished it the day I bought it.
Yeah.
And I haven't touched it since.
You might
That's
when
all I
you
have to say
get
about
your new set of amiibo cards. You might
maybe.
That's an interesting
Which are on the way. So.
Cool. Well, this is a long one.
Yeah.
It's about just over 3 hours. Ish.
Oh, that's actually not as long as I thought.
40 minutes of
alright.
it is Destiny.
It's alright. I wasn't here for most of it, so it's fine.
Except for the people that come here for you.
I don't think there are any of them, to be honest.
Yeah, that's probably 1 or 2.
Just that's generous, with just 1.
Thanks.
for solely Abby?
I'm sure there's more than that.
Well, I hope people come here for all of us.
Yeah.
And our cohesion as a group.
I mean, yeah, if they came here for just one of us, it'd be kind of a mess, you know?
God, why won't these other people just shut up?
I'm willing to bet that there will be several people today who really wish we'd shut up instead of talking about Destiny for 40 minutes.
Well, it was a long time coming talking about that. And it was kind of I didn't really know where to begin talking about it. It would have been easier to focus the discussion as the months went on playing it, but I had 2 months of Taken King to shit out.
And the next podcast is going to be all about Fallout 4. So.
And Game of the Year.
Game of the Year.
What time?
i.e. Fallout 4.
What time are you guys leaving? Or what time? What day?
About 10 minutes. On a Friday. Mid-December.
19th.
Well, we could probably get a Fallout episode in before you guys leave.
I mean, we could do a smaller.
I mean,
less
not
podcast episode and more of a. We're just going to talk about Fallout.
But I mean, yeah.
The problem is you are going to have to be like, Ebby, you need to stop playing Fallout for an hour.
True.
That's the problem.
But anyway,
if not, we'll see you in the new year.
Yeah.
And have a good Christmas in the new year.
Are you telling that to me, or are you talking to the people listening?
Well, I imagine that I won't talk to you until the next episode.
Oh, I'm sure I'll talk to you on Skype.
Right? We'll probably talk right after this, I hope. Unless you want to hang up on me.
I'm going to go eat dinner.
Oh, brilliant.
Once we end this.
I have things to discuss.
I mean, I can come back on for a second. I'll just mute my mic if you guys are staying in the call or something, or if you just want to do it over text, doesn't matter. But I'm definitely gonna eat once this. Thanks for listening, everybody. Forgot, but we're still recording.